You can see in West F, if we can, let's go to court number 1 right now, where we see our two teams assembling on court. Looks like the Bruins going to be rocking the pink today. They're on the near side of your screen. See them assembling, circling up, getting ready for their pregame chants. Far side, USC Trojans rocking the all black today. With that in mind, with the technical difficulties out of the way, with the PA announcements out of the way, we've got some tennis on our hands here, folks. Again, Alex Gruskin of Cracked Rackets. So excited to be joined by all of you today, to be joining you all today as we get to enjoy the final regular season match of the Pac-12 for these UCLA Bruins and the USC Trojans. Mentioned it in the intro, UCLA Bruins come into today's match the number 8 team in the country, 16-3 thus far, coming off of a big win Wednesday over top 5 Pepperdine for the Bruins. As I mentioned, it's the top 3 for them. That's been the story really since the start of the 2020 season. When you bring in a talent like Abby Forbes, add her to a duo like Alicia Bolton and Jada Hart, that's a special trio that can compete with any top 3 in the country and can take UCLA Bruins to special places, of course, for the Bruins moving forward nationally. It's going to be the bottom of their lineup that probably dictates how far they go in May. And certainly when you look at the past matchups for these UCLA Bruins to have had a victory over this USC team earlier in the season, gotten victories for 4, 5, and 6 singles positions as well on those occasions. That's got to bring some confidence, for these Bruins heading into this one. Of course, for the USC Trojans, number 36 in the country, they're on the bubble, but safer side of the bubble come the NCAA tournament selection time. They're 11-8 off the season. Tough weekend for them. They almost knock off a very good Cal team, drop a 4-3 heartbreaker on Friday, end up losing to Stanford on Sunday. The Cardinals 6-1 victory for them on that day. But there have been silver linings for the Trojans all season long, and probably silver lining number the performance of junior Selma Ewing. Ewing has stepped up to the number 1 position, where she's 4-0 in her 4 matches of late. She got victories over both Stanford and California last week. Cal. Top 50 wins for her over Haley Giovara and Michaela Gordon. You look for the doubles lineups, and I know I ran through them earlier, but with play beginning on our 3 courts, let's run you through them once again. Here at the number 1 spot, we get a reunion of a former top team in the nation, Jada Hart, Alicia Bolton, back lined up at number 1. They've only played 5 matches together this season, but if you're a college tennis fan, you're well aware of what that duo is capable of. They're playing the number 1 spot above 2019 NCAA doubles champions Broomfield and Andrews for the Bruins. So certainly Coach Sampras Webster is going to feel good about her number 1 spot. At the number 2 position, Vivian Wolf, Annette Gulick, that double 14-2. Golick, that double 14-2 thus far this season. Number 3 for them today, it's going to be the duo of Abby Forbes and Vanessa Ong. First time those two have lined up together, but certainly when you have a former junior slam doubles champion at the number 3 position, you're feeling pretty good. If you're Coach Sampras Webster, you look for the Trojans today. A couple of switches in their lineup. At the number 1 spot for going to be the duo of Angela Kulikov, Erin Cayetano. At number 2, it's going to be Constance Branstein, Selma Ewing. The 3 spot, the team with the most continuity in the Trojans lineup this season. Summer Dvorak, Dan Wilson. Dvorak and Wilson were the only team to earn a victory over the Trojans in doubles when they played back in February. So we'll keep an eye on court number 3. If you're a Trojan fan, you probably have to have one of those and then steal one of those top 2. Maybe you catch Bolton and Hart on the wrong day, or, again, you get a performance from Selma Ewing where she just dominates the court at number 2 doubles. But should be an interesting affair. And with that in mind, we got our action starting here on court 1. It's the Trojan duo, of and Cayetano to serve first. Trying to figure out exactly what happened. Was that an early overrule here on court number 1? It was an early overrule, so we'll say 30 love now here for the Trojan duo. Worth noting, for those of you tuning in, Nina Pantic, former UCLA Bruin, tennis media superstar, going to be joining us later on the broadcast. Talk a little bit about this rivalry. Big forehand from Bolton. Scoreboard does indeed confirm she was overruled on that first call. So now 30-15 for the Trojans. Quick reminder of how college tennis works. Oh, my feet a little bit behind. Excuse me. So they're playing that 30-15 point now. Thank you for the update, super producer Westoff. And this is what makes that duo of Hart and Bolton so effective, right? Bolton's always going to be looking to cross, playing aggressive at the net. Ditto with Jada Hart, who's just not going to miss in those cross-court rallies. And then Bolton, the firepower she provides on that forehand wing. This is a really good doubles team. I don't just think here in college tennis. I think this is a duo that could have success should they play any pro matches together in the future. Early 30-all point here on court 1. It's a big serve, though, from the Trojans. So now 40-30. Quick reminder, here on these Red Zone broadcasts, we're going to be jumping in between courts. We're starting out here on 1, but as these matches progress, we'll cover a little bit of and 3 doubles as well. Game point here, though, for the Trojans. Kick things off at 1. Jada Hart return goes into the net, and so it's 1-love now for USC. Let's go to court number 2, if we can now, Westoff. Deciding deuce point there early on 2. It's Ewing and Branston serving. I believe that's Ewing serving here on the deuce point. Bruins elect to go ad side here. A reminder, these double sets, 1 set up to 6, tiebreaker at 6 all. No ad scoring, so deuce point's a deciding point here. Was a tight second serve from Ewing, but ultimately Trojans able to keep that ball low on the body of the Bruins. They enter hold here on court 1 and court number 2. So early 1. Oh, no, excuse me. Ball goes in the net. So 1-love Bruins. They get the break here on court number 2. So early lead for them there. And again, on this number 2 doubles court for UCLA. Transfer 5th-year senior Vivian Wolf playing alongside senior net Golick. Both of them coming over from Georgia this past season. So a little continuity for the Bruins, despite both of these players early in their Bruins career. junior, Selma Ewing. Redshirt senior, Constance Branstein. Just a reminder, in case this is your first college tennis match you are tuning into, how the doubles point works. There are 3 sets being played, one on court 1, one on court 2, one on court 3. Whichever team can capture 2 of the 3 double sets earns that all-important doubles point. And we'll take a 1-0 lead heading into our singles portion of the match. There will be 6 singles matches across the board, all of them 2 out of 3 sets, no added scoring, each of them worth 1 point to the dual match overall score. If you're a USC Trojan fan, given the strength of this UCLA lineup at the top, given the depth they have as well at the bottom, you need that 1-love lead. Because you know it's going to be tough sledding at positions 5 and 6 today. Just so much to have to win 3 singles matches than 4 against any team, but particular a top 10 team on the road. Yeah, scoreboard has been updated here on 2 doubles. I thought USC held use point. They did indeed, so they're up 1-love, but it is 30-love here for Wolf and Golick. That'll happen from time to time. Again, that's, I suppose, one of the downsides of having to do these remotely, but still so appreciative to the UCLA athletic department for allowing us to have this opportunity to broadcast today's match. Couple of errors from Wolf, and 30-love becomes 30-all. And again, this duo, both seniors, Golick, Wolf, 14-2 on the year. Duo hasn't lost since all the way back in February. Man, maybe I'm their bad luck charm. I was at that match in February. It was the semifinal at the National Indoors. They played against Texas. Excuse me, they also dropped their match to Oregon at the end of March. But other than that, it's been all victories for this team. Bruins got away with one there. Gulick going to be kicking herself that she didn't put one of those overheads away. Of course, she'll take it. Off the break point, now a deuce point deciding point here. Trojans electing to go right back to that ad side and to the Branstein return. I formation here for the Bruins, even on the second serve. Look for the first forehand. It's much better. And even though she didn't put that volley away, you love to see that aggression, that move, and you see the fist pump from Coach Stella Sampras-Webster to Golick to say, hey, I love that aggression. Make your opponents uncomfortable. Take just a half second away. Make them think. One all here on court 2. We stuck around here on court 2 because we've had back-to-back deuce point games. I apologize if you are here to watch court 3. Let's go to court 3 if we can right now, Westhoff, as the Bruin duo, Abby Forbes, Vanessa Ong, Love 30 in the 1-all service game of, I believe, Summer Dvorak serving now, her and Danielle Wilson at the number 3 position for the Trojans. I'd recognize that forehand anywhere. Big forehand from Abby Forbes down the line, and that's the luxury of having, I believe, the number 8 player in the nation right now. You look, yep, Abby Forbes, number 7 player in the nation, playing number 3 doubles. You ask any coach across the country for that right now. Quadruple break point here on 3 for the Bruins early to take a 2-1 lead. You look for Vanessa Ong, second half. Oh, I'm way behind, according to super producer Daniel Westoff. This is what happens when you're trying to toggle between a couple of streams. Oh, I guess Forbes and Ong already got the break. That's on me. Apologies there. So 2-1 for the Bruin duo at number 3. And again, I'm working here on getting all of my streams up to date. That's on me. I got to click live anytime we change courts. Let's change courts again and go to number 2 doubles, where we have another tight game on 2. Golick, Wolf, 15-30 lead in the service game of Brand. I believe I'm up to date here. Super producer Daniel Westoff can tell me if I'm not. So now, after that return goes wide, Westoff confirms I am up to date. That's a beautiful forehand there to open up the court by Brandstein. Made it so easy for Ewing. All she had to do was spike down on that overhead. I really like the fact that in that rally, Golick pinched over, hit that middle forehand early Bruins, but that's just better execution by the Trojans, and now game point for them here. Take a 2-1 lead. But the forehand goes wide. So 3 straight deuce points here on court number 2 to kick things off. If you're a Trojan fan, I think you actually like that dynamic to start things. It means you're right in this match on court number 2. And, you know, with Forbes looking the way she does on 3, if you can steal this number 2 doubles team, you have Selma Ewing on court here. You feel like you've got the best player. That would be the momentum boost you're looking for. Get a deuce point hold here. But the double fault, she probably heard me talking through her serve. I'll take the blame for that one. That's on me. Bruins break 4-2-1. And now the Bruins have break leads on all 3 courts. And let's go back to court number 1, because anytime you get a number 1 team in the country on court, you got to spend time watching them. And in Alicia Bolton, and I'm telling you, if they make the NCAA individual tournament in doubles, there's not a single team in the country that's going to want to face them. Big serve from Bolton to take the 15-love lead. You look for this duo again, ranked number 1 in the country, All-American. And I believe they were 18-3 in doubles overall, 10-1 in dual matches. Oracle ITA National Fall Champions in November of 2019. Now 30 love here on court 1. And again, a scoreboard update for you. Bruins up breaks 2-1 on courts 1 and 2. Consolidated the break for a 3-1 lead on 3. So all Bruins thus far here. Is it Westwood? I think UCLA is in Westwood. Brentwood? It's one of the 2. It's one of the woods. Anyways, break leads here for UCLA in the woods. Now going to be 40-15, triple game point on the Alicia Bolton serve. Consolidate that break. Good move there from the Trojans. Again, pinching over. Kind of tell from the body positioning of Alicia Bolton, she was going cross court there, even if she goes down the line. Trojans pinched in so tight at the net. Love that coverage. Make them sweat a little bit. 40-30 now. All right, there's nothing wrong. So the pass down the line from Bolton was the highlight of that play, and Bruins hold 4-3-1. Incredible doubles play there from Hart and Bolton, but absolutely nothing wrong with that cross there from the Trojans. She got beat down the line, but if you're not getting beat down the line, you're not playing doubles correctly. And right there, that just epitomizes why this team of Bolton and Hart so dangerous. They not only play with great acumen, but they've got all the skills as well. And it's just, the trust between them. Jada Hart lets that overhead drop. She says, you know what? I'm just going to let Alicia unload on a forehand, keep us in an aggressive position on the court. That's why this duo is so fun to watch. Why they've taken a 3-1 lead here on court number 1. It's a great forehand there. Got that ball deep Bolton's body. If you're a Trojan fan, you have to be pretty impressed with the level of Kulikov thus far. They're just playing the best, if not one of the best duo in the country. So we'll stick around here through the end of this changeover. Worth noting, got the break right back on court number 2. So they're 2-all there. Bruins have extended a double break 4-1 lead on court 3. So we'll keep an eye on that as Forbes and Ong look like a dangerous doubles team for the Bruins here now at that number 3 position. Could have been the missing piece here in this Bruins doubles lineup and in this Bruins lineup in general. We give UCLA a 1 lead. They're going to win at least one of the top 3, probably 2. So that's points. Only need 1 from the bottom. I mean, it's a pretty nice match calculus to have if you're Bruin head coach Stella Sampras-Webster. Big overhead down the center, though. 30-15 for the Bruins. Not to be disrespectful to this court. You know what? Let's stick here through the end of the game. But Westhoff, if you can, get court number 2 ready to go. It's 15-30 there for Golick and Wolf. Or now 30-all. Given we saw 3 deuce points in the first 3 games. Wouldn't want to miss out on that. So again, just keep an eye on that one if you can, Westhoff. Stick here for now, though. 40-15 for the Trojans. Another game point here. 40-30. Oh. And that's just damn good doubles. Beautiful point there by Kulikov and Cayetano to earn the hold. 4-2-3. Let's go to court number 2 if we can, Westhoff. Deuce point coming up here now, I believe. 2-all deuce points, so 4 at least in the first 5 games on court number 2. And given where the score lines are right now, Forbes and on 4-1, 40-30 up for UCLA on court number 3. Bolton and Hart up a brick, but battling on 1. UCLA leading, but you have to feel good if you're a Trojan fan. Selma Ewing here, breakout star for the Trojans. 2-all deuce point, second serve coming. Gets that ball low on the body of Annette Golick. Trojans hold 4-3-2. They've taken the past 2 games now and take their first lead since One Love here on court number 2. Let's go to court number 3 if we can, Westhoff. Abby Forbes and Vanessa Ong. First time the duo has played together. Look damn good thus far. Taking it to veteran team of Dvorak and Wilson for the Trojans. Another huge inside-in forehand from Forbes. And I made this comment earlier. I believe our commenter, John Parsons, who's joining us today. Hello, John. Welcome back to our broadcast. He commented Forbes at number 3 equals Kovacevic at number 3. Couldn't agree with you more, John. It's a luxury any coach around the country would want to have. And by the way, if you have any comments, questions for us here on the stream, please feel free to send them in. Super producer Daniel Westhoff going to send them my way, so I apologize if I don't address them immediately, but I will try to address any comments any of you have throughout this broadcast. We have an update on Texas Tech. Women's match happening elsewhere in the country. Number 2, Texas up 2-1 over Texas Tech. No Peyton Stearns for the Longhorns in the lineup today, but of course with the strength, the talent, the depth they have, still like them there. Also worth noting, I got a text from our professor here at Cracked Rackets, Chris Halioris, informing me the emails have been sent. The 16 host sites have been decided here on Selection Friday, I suppose, for the upcoming 2021 Division I college tennis tournament for the men and the women. Do I know the 16 host sites? Not quite yet. It may have broken on Twitter, and if it did, I apologize for not knowing that yet. But if we get that information, I, of course, will let you know. Interesting 2-back scenario here for Dvorak and Wilson. Trying everything they can at this point. But Vanessa Ong coming up with the answers at the net. 15-30 now here. Bruins 2 points away from taking this set at number 3 doubles. If you guys see me texting, it's because I'm trying to figure out who the host sites are. Now triple match point here for the Bruins on 3. Abby Forbes, Vanessa Ong, 6-1 victory here at number 3 doubles to give the Bruins a 1-0 lead here to start things off. Just dominant from start to finish. They got off that early break. They raced from there, considering it's the first time these two have played a match here in 2021. Heck of a start for them. Heck of a decision by Coach Sampras Webster to pair the duo here to kick things off. With that in mind, let's go quickly to court number 1. We've got double deuce point action. I believe on court number 1, we actually may have already seen that point come to a finish, but perhaps the video is a little bit behind. I mean, this is just fantastic stuff, folks. Both of these teams, Kulikov, Cayetano, Bolton, and Hart, playing their tennis. And now we're where we should be. 3-all here on court number 1. Now, if we can jump over to court number 2, West, we've got another deuce point happening. 5 in 6 games for Golick, Wolf, Branston, and Ewing. So this is what I was talking about. The scoreboards necessarily reflect how well the USC was playing, through the first 10 to 15 minutes? No, but they have played UCLA. I'm screwing up all my U's here. USC has played UCLA essentially to a draw. And in fact, you look on the scoreboard, it pretty much is a draw to this point through doubles. 3-all on court number 1. They're up a break on court number 2. You know, if you are a USC fan, you put number 3 in the rearview mirror. It's gone. Nothing you can do about it. Forbes, Ong, too good. But momentum on the side of the Trojans now. They get breaks on both courts simultaneously. We've got ourselves a match, folks. Yeah, and you can see now here on court number 2, this Trojan duo, they're on their front foot. And you look for Branston and Ewing thus far on the season. I mentioned it. First time they're playing together. And the fact that it's 2 first-time duos having success here in a rivalry match just adds to the intrigue. It adds to what makes college tennis such an exciting element of the sport. You can just tell these teams are clicking. They're their best stuff today. You look again here for Branston and you, they're crossing at the net. They're the ones on their front foot. They're 2 up. Resters, it feels like Ewing and Golick, or Ewing and Golick, Wolf and Golick, just constantly having to respond to the level of the Trojans. I'm impressed. Again, I know they're ranked 36. They've dealt with a ton of injuries this season. No one wants to see the Trojans opening week of the NCAA tournament. 30-15 now here in the service game of Branston. I don't mean to cut away actions. I know it's 30 all here, but Westhoff, we have a break point on court number 1. So if we can, let's go to court number 1. Bolton Hart, 30-40 now in the service game of Cayetano. And Kulikov fought off a break point chance already. But you can tell after getting broken, there was no rest for the weary. Bolton Hart making their returns immediately into the next service game of their opponents. Big return from Jada Hart down the middle. And you know what they say? Down the middle solves the riddle. It does again for the Bruins. And as always, the best team in the country, what happens when they get broken? They respond. That's what Bolton and Hart do. They earn the break back. Now a 4-3 lead for the Bruins, back in command here in this doubles point. If you're a Trojan fan, I mean, by the way, we're 7 games through the number 2 double spot. They have played deuce points in 6 of the 7 games. This time it's Golick and Wolf getting the break but right back, and that's what national championship team winning teams do. Because look, you're gonna get punched in the face at some point in a college tennis match. It doesn't matter if you're the favorite. It doesn't matter if you're the underdog. It happens. Every team goes on their 10 to 15 minute run. The Trojans started their run. They got breaks to even things at 1. They got the break to take the lead at number 2. What do a national championship contending team in UCLA do? They punch them right back. They say, no, 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 no. No extended run for you today. That's cute that you got a couple of breaks on 1 and 2, but let us show you what we're all about. Have to love that response from the veterans in Bolton and Hart, Golick and Wolf. We'll stay here on court number 1 for now, where it's Bolton and Hart up 4-3. Alicia Bolton serving on the near side of your court. By the way, this is part of the fun of the live broadcast. In case you want to know what the job is here at Cracked Rackets, you see me looking down right now on the screen. It's because I think I just sent a text to 17 different coaches asking was selected as a host site. So not going to show you the screen, not going to show you who I'm tech. Oh, maybe I'll just show you the names. Do that momentarily, but I'm on the case, folks. I promise. Since I know he won't mind, look who responded right away, folks. Brad Dancer, FaceTime video. Well, should I pick up? If I was less professional, I would have picked up, but I didn't want to do him like that. So I'm going to text him and tell him I was mid-broadcast. But I'm going to text him right now. I'll see if he wants to join us. Anyways, 15:30 here for Bolton and Hart. This is the sort of match it's been, folks. Kulyakov, Cayetano. You guys want to see the screen? I sent the text, believe me. I tried. I'm doing my part. Did Bolton make that forehand down the line? Get out of here. That's filthy. That's outstanding stuff from the Bruins. Still, though, down another break point. I feel like my stream might be a little bit behind, so I'm going to hit refresh. I apologize if you guys are ahead of me. I believe it's still 30-40. But the forehand sails long from Bolton, and so USC gets the break right back. They're still swinging. 4-all here on court number 1. You look on court number 2 right now. Bruins did get the hold for 4-all there, so it's crunch time on courts 1 and 2. We're going to flip-flop back and forth between both of them. Let's stay here on 1 for now, but as we get towards game points in either game, I'm going to flip-flop between the two here. So again, a little less continuity down the home stretch in terms of watching consecutively, but we are going to continue to watch between these two and keep you guys up to date so we don't miss any game points, break points, whatever it may be. $40 love now for the Trojans on court 1. It's 40-30 for them, by the way, on court number 2. This USC so active at the net. I absolutely love their aggression. They're playing to win. No, leaving nothing out, leaving nothing behind. You have to respect that attitude. They hold 4-5-4 here on 1. Let's go to court number 2 if we can, Westoff. 40-30 for Branstein and Ewing. Going to shock me if we see anything other than a deuce point here on court number 2. And that's exactly what we get. Return winner, make it another deuce point. That's 7 now here in this match. 7 of the 9 games have gone to deuce. Speaks to how thin the margins are here in college tennis. Court number 2, Ewing serving for the Trojans. Deuce point coming up. And remember, Bruins only need to take one of these final 2 sets as they earned a 6-1 victory on court 3. Pantic and Wolf break what the best teams do. This UCLA duo, double seniors, experienced at all levels of college tennis. They held 4-5-4. Let's go back to court number one. Westhoff already beat me to it because he's the best producer in the business. $30 now here for Bolton and Hart. Excuse me. No, 15. I think my scoreboard's ahead of my stream. It says 15 here, but it says 30 on the scoreboard. I'm going to hit a quick refresh. 15 here, but a little sneak peek of what's about to happen. I love watching this duo play. Hart, Bolton. They really can do a little bit of everything, and they've been tested today. Kulikov and Cayetano have not held back. They've tried to be the aggressors whenever possible, but it's a credit to, again, it's been a really high level of play here on court one. 40 for Bolton and Hart to take a 5 to tie this at 5, excuse me. That's exactly what they did. They hold 4-5 in the meantime, Stoff. Can we go to court number two? Vivian Wolf up 30 serving for the set and the doubles point for the Bruins. 7 deuce points in the 9 games played here on number 2 doubles. Truly outstanding. That's what college tennis is all about. But Branstein and Ewing have had answers anytime they've been asked a question. They've fought, they've scrapped, they've clawed. That's been the story for these Trojans in doubles. Speaks to the fact that this is a rivalry match. This is the last match of the regular season. We're leaving nothing on the table here. It's led to a really high level of play. Ball sails long there. So now 40-15. Triple match point for the doubles point here on 2 Westhoff. I should have told you this beforehand. For Sunday, let's try and get a slow clap sound effect so that anytime there's a set point, we can get a slow clap sound effect going on the broadcast. You can message me if that's possible or not right now. We can't do it right here because I didn't give him any heads up because I'm not good to work with, but I'm certain he's going to be capable of doing it. That ball does indeed clip the line, so it's Golick, Wolf, 6-4 victory at the number 2 doubles flight. And they give UCLA a 1 lead heading into singles play. With, by the way, the start of singles play will come 6 different singles matches up and down the board. I believe you look here now, we're going to have, again, it's going to be all 6 courts here covered on our Cracked Rackets broadcast. I apologize. I just looked at my phone. I shouldn't be doing that during the broadcast. So to ring us in and out, just a quick update. What's going to happen? There will be 6 singles matches. UCLA with a 1 lead heading into singles. We will hop between all 6 courts when that action begins. Looks like they're going to be playing out that number 1 doubles position. That speaks to the fact that both of these coaches, by the way, want the opportunity to give their doubles teams opportunities to earned ranked wins, to give themselves a chance to reach the NCAA tournament. Westhoff, if you want to go to court number 1 right now to tune into the rest of this match, we will. Oh, he's already there. See, that's why he's the best in the business, folks. He's going to tune in. And again, we're going to stay here on court number 1. Watch the end of this action. There will be a 5-minute break between singles and doubles. We're going to take a short break as as well during that time, so I can respond to some of these texts so that I don't feel as bad doing it, and so we can get everything set to go for singles. But again, coaches making the smart decision, in my opinion. I really do love this decision quietly. And if you want to, I can't tweet, respond to text, and broadcast at the same time. If I was capable of functioning right now on Twitter, I would tweet out how admirable this decision is, because I love that. I love the fact that these coaches letting them play it out, trying to give their teams. We rip on the computer rankings on our Great Shot podcast, and probably unjustifiably was a little bit too harsh on the ITA's handling of the rankings this year. But look, some coaches, they take the win, they run away with it. Some coaches are scheming in their lineups, right? They're having guys play 2 or 3 singles who should certainly be at the top of their lineup just to try and give themselves victories, men and women, by the way. But these coaches are like, you know what? We don't care that it's clinched. It's better for our team to play these matches out, give us a chance to earn some rankings points. I love this decision. I absolutely love it from both of these coaches. Again, low, middle solves the riddle for Jada Hart. Her and Bolton get another break here, and they'll serve for the set now, up 6-5 here at this number 1 double spot. Again, UCLA already clinched the doubles point, 6-1 victory from first-time team of Abby Forbes, Vanessa Ong at the number 3 spot. They then earned dramatic's the wrong word, a dramatic 6-4 victory at the number 2 spot. Golick and Wolf. 7 of the 9 games go to deuce points, but they earn a 4 victory in the end. And here on court 1, 6-5 Bruins. I believe it's Alicia Bolton now who's going to serve for the set. Kulikov and Cayetano have had answers every time they've been asked questions. Let's see if they've got anything left in the tank. First serve from Bolton, 15 love, 3 points away. And again, that this team of Bolton and Hart are number 86 in the country. Yes, they've only played 5 matches together, but I think you ask anyone, tell you, this is a team with NCAA championship winning potential if they can get in the draw. So now quadruple set point, excuse me. Oh, I love the lobs. Love it, love it, love it. But too much power in the end from the duo of Bolton and Hart. They take a 7-5 victory at number one doubles, hug between the two of them. And it's a clean sweep for the Bruins here in doubles to take a 1-love lead overall, heading into singles play. When we come back, we're going to have 6 singles matches to enjoy down the home stretch. We're also inching closer and closer to the 6 p.m. hour. And with the 6 p.m. hour comes the addition of Nina Pantic to our broadcast. So again, we will be back after a short intermission. We hope all of you stick with us. But for now, my name is Alex Gruskin. You are watching USC versus UCLA on our Cracked Reds broadcast. Welcome back, everyone, to our Cracked Racquets Red Zone coverage of today's USC UCLA battle. And joining us now on the broadcast, a former UCLA Bruin and tennis media darling, Nina Pantic. Nina, welcome to our broadcast. Always a pleasure to get to work with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Alex. It's great to be here. I always love chatting with you, and it's going to be so much fun to watch the Bruins and the Trojans battle.
Yeah, it's nice to get to do one of our phone calls, but in public now. I feel like there's slightly higher stakes, so I have to cut some of the bad jokes, not all of them, just some of them. But certainly great to get to have you today. And, you have played in this rivalry, and as we see now, we're on court number 1. We'll introduce our lineups as we go along, but let's just start there. USC versus UCLA. How much does this match mean to both teams?
It's incredible because the rivalry is so much fun. I know that it seems like it's obviously very heated, and it is. But when I played at UCLA, it's now a good 10 years ago, we loved the Trojans. We were friends, we got along, we hung out. But of course, the cross Los Angeles rivalry is very heated, and everyone's always going to go out bringing their best, which makes for really fun matches. And I think that's what we're going to see today is both teams will try to do the best they can because it means so much more because they're both in Los Angeles.
I was looking on Tennis Abstract. Do you know Emilio Gomez is now 30? Like, that made me feel devastated. It's like, there is no way he is 30. That means I'm closer to 30 than I would like to be. But yeah, it is crazy to think, again, the history between these two teams. Whenever there's a USC UCLA battle, it likely has high stakes, not just not just for both of these teams, nationally as well. And we see here coming into singles, UCLA with a 1-0 lead was a very competitive doubles point. The Bruins ran away with that 3 doubles position, but there were 7 breaks in the 7 deuce point 10 games played at number 2 doubles. Ultimately, UCLA takes a 6-4 decision there to clinch the doubles point. And now we get into our 6 singles matches, and we start on court number 1 with one of the top 10, maybe top 5s, maybe best players, maybe the best player in the country, UCLA, in Abby Forbes, the sophomore. 16-1, I believe, in the matches she has played this season, 15-1 at the number 1 singles spot. She plays the, I would say, brightest spot in the USC lineup this season. She's taken on junior here today for the Trojans in Selma Ewing. When you look at this matchup, Nina, Forbes versus Ewing, what are you expecting heading into this one?
I expect Forbes to kind of take control of the match. She's ranked a bit higher, obviously. She's very, very strong and a very good athlete, gets a lot of balls back and has a very strong fighting spirit. Most of the girls on both teams obviously do, but she's someone who has a lot more experience in terms of playing these high level matches. I think she just got a good win, a comeback win against Pepperdine earlier this week, and that's going to help her a little bit as well.
And for Ewing, she has been the bright spot. She was the one player to earn wins in both of their matches last weekend against Cal and Stanford. Now, one of them was a third set super breaker, so you take that with a grain of salt as well. But those are 2 wins over 2 top 50 players. And so Ewing's going to battle today. But having watched Abby Forbes, and, you see it now, she's up an early 1-love, love 30 lead here. It's the forehand for me. It jumps out in like 2 seconds of watching her play. She's going to be a pro someday.
I think so. Plenty of Bruins have made it quite well on the tour, so it is a good place for her to be. Gotta give a shout out to Jen Brady. It's fun that the Bruins have been turning out all this pro talent, and I could see her as one for sure. I mean, she's still very young, but she's been on quite a win streak this season. She's won a lot of matches. I think she only has 1 loss. It's very impressive.
I'm doing some math in my head. Would Brady have been a freshman when you were a senior? Was that right
Close.
after you left?
Close. Alex, I'm a lot older than you. So she came in just as I left, and I actually think I was bad luck because the Bruins won just before I got there, and like maybe a year, maybe 2 years after I left. So I really, really sandwiched right in there, you know?
No, absolutely. And by the way, second call from a coach here on the broadcast. This time it's Bruce Burke. I'm just name dropping left and right. The reason I bring that up is because NCAA selections are being made for host sites today. It sounds like the decision was they released 20 preliminary host sites. They're going to narrow that list down to 16 once we get closer to the tournament, once you give the rankings conference tournaments to sort of bear themselves out. But just keep that in mind in the background as we are watching today's match. As any news comes up, we will be aware of that. But again, regular season finale for both of these teams. Abby Forbes already up an early break. Scoreboard's a little off on play side. It is Forbes serving right now. One love 40-30. And it's the ace that puts the match away, puts the game away. So 2-love lead there. Let's switch courts now, Westoff. Let's go to court number 2 if we can introduce our number 2 singles players. It's fifth-year senior Jada Hart, who might have also been there when you ended your college career. That's how long she's been at UCLA, Nina, but she has been an All-American in her time around in the Bruins lineup. She currently trails 15-30 in her opening service game, but you look at Jada Hart's career, one of the best college tennis players we've seen over the past 5 years.
What I love about Jada is that she's sticking to college tennis all the way through. This is her fifth year, right? She's a grad student, and it's something that kind of wasn't that common back when I was playing and before to be a grad student and playing. But now, because of COVID and because rules have changed, you can really take advantage of your eligibility. And I love seeing that with her. And she's got a lot of experience, obviously, 5 years. She's played so much college tennis, so much for the Bruins, and had such an incredible career. She's just very stable and has a lot of attitude. I love that about her.
No, one of my favorites, certainly. And we had the chance to have her on the podcast right after the pandemic hit last year. And just, you could hear, we had her right after the NCAA announced that they were allowing everyone back for an additional season. And you could just hear the joy in her voice. I would completely echo everything you said. Someone who loves college tennis, loves being in that world, loves playing these matches, and certainly knows all about this rivalry match now. Now, today, she's going to have a tricky opponent as she's going to take on sophomore Erin Cayetano. You look for Cayetano thus far this season, 9-5 overall in the dual matches she's played, 5-2 when she's lined up at the number 2 singles position. For the Trojans, their best flight has been number 2 singles. They're 14-4 on the year. Feels like this is a must-have if you're a Trojan fan today.
It does feel that way, and it's challenging because it is Jada Hart she's playing against, so it's going to be a big, big ask for her. But what I love about her is she comes to the net a lot. She's a very versatile player, likes to mix things up, and you don't see that as much as you want to in women's tennis. So it's good to see someone that's not afraid to come to the net. I mean, she plays a lot of doubles as well, so that helps. Again, something I've been watching a lot of pro tennis. So, when you're watching pro tennis, people don't play singles and doubles. I love that about college tennis. We're going to see them playing both, and it really makes them bigger and better players.
It's why I'm so upset Katie McNally didn't spend 1 year in college. She would have been so good at college tennis. It would have been a delight for all of us. But, we're talking about, or I say this is a must-have for USC. Something I like to do is play calculus, which is kind of, trying to figure out who am I going to win? Where am I going to find my 4 points? Is that something you're doing as a player? Are you guys before the match saying, I feel like when you've got some of the players you have on your team, like, all right, we're winning that 1 singles for sure. That's not an issue. But guys are chatting about before the match?
We don't chat about it, or we never did when I was playing, but we do think about it a lot. I think when you're in the middle of a match and you go down a little bit, you go up a little bit, you do look around the scoreboard. And at UCLA, it's that one giant scoreboard on these front courts. You can see what's going on at all times, which is good and bad. So you do tend to stray and check things out, especially if you're down a set or up a set. It crosses your mind a lot. But beforehand, we never openly talked about it, but I'm sure like in little groups, you're like, oh yeah, of course, like our number 1's going to win. Of course she's going to kill her. And you think about it, but then in the match is when it's crossing your mind the most.
And an early hold here for Jada Hart. So 1-all here on court number 2. Let's work our way across the board, Westoff. We're just going to go 1-6. Let's go to court number 3 now. And for the UCLA Bruins, national championship contender, it's because their top 3 is as good, if not better, than in the countries. I mean, you can have Alicia Bolton, who's an All-American in both singles and doubles, someone who's been ranked top 10 in the country in singles, play number 3 in your lineup, and you're able to justify it if you're Coach Stella Sampras Webster. That is luxury of all luxuries.
It really is. I mean, this is a number one player. This is someone who has been top 10, as you said. I mean, she's phenomenal off both sides. She's got a great serve. She's got a great first strike forehand. I mean, she's been a top 25 ranked junior. She had a strong win over Pepperdine on Wednesday. I think it was in straight sets. So, a good boost for her going into this match, and she's already up 3-0.
Yeah, and when I'm starting to think that Coach Webster has a type: big serves, big forehands. That's Alicia Bolton.
It is, and it's going to serve her. I could see her being someone who wants to maybe try the pro tour after college as well as before. And it's going to serve her well having that big first strike tennis game plan. It really does make a difference, especially when you're in college and the players maybe aren't as aggressive as they could be. So it's good to see her on court as well. Three is low, but it makes sense. Jada Hart and
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The thing is, so I think she's played like 8 matches this year in total in the dual match season. She's 7-1, and Jada, Abby Forbes are closer to that 20 mark. I think they've played in every match the Bruins have had this season, and there is something to rewarding that. I also feel like there's something to mixing up that top 3, right? Ensuring none of them get burnt out, because you play 20 matches at number 1 singles. It doesn't matter how good you are. That takes a toll.
And that's the beauty of having such a strong, heavy lineup is that you can make those changes and mix things up and still win matches. So it's a pretty good year for Stella Sampras to be able to make these swaps if she needed to, like you said, to avoid any kind of burnout or maybe even to rest a player completely for a match instead of just swapping them around. She has the luxury to do that.
And I will say, having spoken to Alicia, we got the chance to talk to her dad a bunch at the National Indoors. There was only like 6 family members there because it was family only at the event. And so he was one of the 6. And, at that point, since there are only 6 people, everyone can hear my commentary from the booth the whole time. And he was just kind of like giving me eyes whenever I would say something about Alicia. I was like, no, that was a good thing. That was a good thing, I swear. But just knowing her, she will have no problems playing number 3. There will be no pride, no ego, especially as this team continues to rack up wins. But for Bolton today, she's got a tough out in Danielle Wilson. And you look for Wilson. She's been one of the bright spots in the Trojans lineup as well, primarily at the number 4 singles position, where she's 10-5, 12-6 overall in dual matches. It's tough for these Trojans because they're missing a bunch of players in their lineup, but Wilson's one of those who have stepped up this year.
And it's a challenging place to be when you're at number 3 and 4. Those are the most crucial spots in the lineup because that's where kind of things can sway and make a big difference. So she's at number 3, which makes it even harder for her. Maybe number 4 would have been a little bit of a lighter day. She's already down 3-0, so not the best start. But to challenge Alicia Bolton is a lot, especially in a home court, even though we do not have fans. And the USC courts are very different to the UCLA courts, the way they're set up, especially. You don't get that support from your 4, 5, and 6, and it makes a difference.
That it is an interesting setup, and having been to UCLA, we weren't allowed to hit on the courts. I was there for like a day, but I was like, we have to go see the courts. I've seen them too many times. The big stadium 3, right? Top 3 get the big normal circumstances, and then the bottom 3 are what, like 100 yards south?
Yeah, it's different. So it's not 100 yards south. I mean, there's a big stadium kind of in between you. There's the building where all the locker rooms are. So there's a pretty big chunk of space. You can't hear the other courts. You're separated by a lot of space and a lot of building. So that makes a big difference because the front 3 are kind of bonding up there, and then the back 3 are like grinding in the back, trying to help each other out. But there's only 3 of you. It makes for a very different atmosphere than when you're at USC.
Well, with that in mind, let's go travel to those back 3 courts. Let's go to court number 4 first. We'll start with Vivian Wolf, transfer from Georgia. She's at the number 4 singles position. She's been, I would say, the spot that struggled the most. And again, it's a nice struggle to have when you look at your worst flight, and at that flight, you're still having a winning record. You're still, I think for the year, she's 10 and 6 at the number 4 singles position as a team. Wolf 6-4 specifically. But again, a 5th-year senior in Vivian Wolf at that spot, you'll take it if you're Coach Webster.
Exactly. And you said you transferred. So being a transfer is an interesting situation to be in. You kind of get a second chance at life in a way. You get to start
Yeah.
over. You get to have a new team, a new coach, and it does give you a lot of energy and a lot of encouragement, assuming the transfer is a good one, which it is. And for someone like her, getting more matches in and getting more of her college career in, it's only a good thing.
Yeah, and just in terms of style of play, you can see it here early in the point. This is going to be a grind. In terms of matches that finish, I will be surprised if this one has finished by the time this match is, because I think this is, Vivian Wolf. It feels like she's always the last one on court, whether it was as a Bruin, was playing for Georgia. It's also fascinating, curious your thought. And again, as we introduce these players, a lot of talking as we get more into these sets, we'll back off and let the play. But uh, for just Vivian Wolf to get that additional year of eligibility, to be able to transfer and just, I feel like that's a luxury. I feel like it's what makes this tennis season, and I think these next 3 years, as all of these players impacted by COVID continue to remain in the sport, so interesting, right? Like if you had an additional bonus year of college tennis, I feel like how is that going to bring out anything but your best stuff? You're essentially mastering in tennis.
Exactly. You're getting another chance at life. You're extending your career, either in a new school or the same school, depending on how your situation goes. And it's incredible to see how many players taking advantage of this year. There was so much bad news last year. Everything kind of seemed hopeless, especially for seniors. I mean, it was devastating. So to have this solution and see these players enjoying themselves and having these new chances at ending their career the way they want to, it's been beautiful to see. It's been fun. And I hope that it continues in the future, even when these players have all long graduated, that players see the advantage of maybe staying an extra year, maybe getting a master's degree, and even transferring if they need to.
It's also ridiculous the level of talent we see. I mean, North Carolina's got, I think, 7 players ranked inside the top 100, and it's like justifiable that they have someone in their bench who's a top 100 player in the country. And, Pepperdine, who this UCLA team went and beat on Wednesday, they've got a bunch of, Shiori Fukuda was an All American for Ohio State. She now plays 3 singles for them. Tech has so much talent top to bottom. And yet, when you look at this UCLA team with the addition of the senior transfers, with their top 3, I don't think it's outlandish to say national championship is in the conversation for them.
It absolutely is. I feel like every single year, though, that the Bruins feel they could be a national championship winning team, no matter what happens. It's always kind of been the bar. It's where it's set from day one, no matter what's going on. But then each year is different. In this situation, I absolutely agree with you. I think there's a lot of potential to challenge for the title. I mean, they're top 10. They have a strong lineup. Like we said, the Bolton's at number 3. I mean, that's incredible. And they do tend to kind of stack their lineups. The big hitters are in the front courts. And like we said, back here, Vivian Wolf, some players like to grind, and the grind tends to happen at UCLA on the back courts.
No, that's half the fun. And again, it's a question, I suppose, for UCLA women's tennis fans specifically, because of the strength of Stanford as a women's tennis program. They set the standard for every team across the country. And I think it was like an 8-year stretch or something that they had beaten UCLA before that streak was snapped at last year's national indoors. Is the rivalry between the Trojans or the rivalry with Stanford the rivalry for UCLA women's tennis? Because those Stanford matches are incredible from a level of play standpoint.
It depends on who you ask in the season for sure, but the way I felt was that Stanford was a bigger rival because we were so amped up to get the win against them. In this case, I think it's similar here where USC is ranked considerably lower, and of course, a phenomenal team and always a challenge. But Stanford sometimes was better. So as you said, they had that legacy. So you really tried to rise to the occasion when you went over there. The travel was a bit more extensive. You're going to North California, so it added a lot of elements to it and made it a little bit more dramatic. And Stanford just carries that like extra prestige, like they're at another level when it comes to like being so intimidating.
No, Palo Alto, you walk on there and you're like, I'm going to stay here for the next month. Just come find me in June or whatever, and I'm just going to hang out here. But yeah, it's again, it speaks to the quality of this Pac-12 conference. Stanford, UCLA, USC, so much talent up from top to bottom. It's why national champions continue to emerge from the conference. And here you see Vivian Wolf now 40-30 in this 2-all game against Summer Dvorak for USC. As you can see, Dvorak, she's going to throw, a lot of junk your way, a lot of slices, just keep that ball in play. She's going to make Wolf work. That's also part of the reason I don't expect this match to finish prior to the clinch. But, we'll stick around here for this deuce point because you always like a deuce point before moving to 5 singles. Would you have enjoyed no ad scoring? Or are you happy you got out of college tennis before it really?
I'm glad you asked. I would have loved it. I think it's phenomenal. I love the deciding tiebreak when matches decide. I think that's genius. I love doubles. Actually, I'm not sure about doubles, but I love the deciding point.
Mm-hmm. The problem with a no-ad doubles set, it's like 20 minutes. It's just so fast.
Yeah, and I actually kind of missed the pro set, but it does make it different in doubles because there's a bit more of the faster points and a little bit more of the luck gets played in when it comes to doubles. But singles, it's a proper way to play with the no ad. I love it.
It's delightful. It really is. And there was a Stanford USC men's match last weekend. The player for Stanford 5 singles comes back from 7-6, 5-love down. He wins like 6 deuce points over the next 7 games and just like manages to survive. And it's what makes college tennis such a fun format. But we believe these two faced off in the first matchup between these two schools. It was Vagramov faced Dvorak. Excuse me. Vagramov was winner the first time she played against USC. She's also been phenomenal this year for the Bruins. You look for Vagramov overall, she's 7-3. She's 3-1 at this 5 singles position. Just a ball machine. Makes a ton of balls down there.
I feel like having a lefty is just so incredibly handy, and the Bruins always find a lefty somewhere, so it's great. But it makes such a big difference. It's so rare to be playing against a lefty in any category of tennis, but in college it just makes such a huge difference having that serve, being able to hit that forehand slice on her lefty forehand. I mean, it's going to be a good match for sure. I think she lost earlier this week pretty lopsidedly, but she'll try and regroup here for sure.
It's funny because everyone always says that about lefties. My older brother and younger brother, I have 2 of them, 2 brothers total, are both lefties, and I'm the righty of the family, so I'm the weird one.
And are you jealous though?
No. I'm like,
I would be.
Have you seen the way they hold a pencil? I'm like, please, that's just it's not acceptable. But it's funny because one of them golfs righty, and I'm like, you want to be like me anyways.
That's normal. I've seen that. Like when they mix it up, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's why I prefer backhands. That's why I'm always a slappy for backhand, because growing up, my older brother was always like, I'm hitting forehands to your backhand side, okay? And I was like, sure. Like, all right, thanks for bringing me here. I'm in. And so. But no, to your point, absolutely. But, for Branstein, who I believe is one of the 3 seniors on the roster, USC, she's going to battle here today. She is going to put a ton of balls in play as well. And again, it's interesting to me to see. You always feel good, right, when you've got the senior at the 5 position, when you've got a senior at the bottom of the lineup.
You do. I think having someone older at the back end is important to have that atmosphere. Like she knows how to keep those players at a certain emotional level, because like I said in the beginning, you're only 3 of you in the back, so having someone there that knows what they're doing is important for carrying the back lineup. And especially if she stays level-headed and calm no matter what happens, maybe about to go 3-all here, it's early in the first set, there's plenty of tennis to be played, and you expect someone like her to have a lot of energy. And there's a lot of communication going on between the players, and that happens through the entire match, not just in doubles. It's across the board for the entire day, and you can't hear 1, 2, and 3, but you're 4, 5, and 6. You guys are now a crew.
No, I mean, and momentum swings are the name of the game in college tennis, right? As one court goes, it feels like they all start to go.
Exactly. And it makes a big difference in when you decide to, like, when you start making that pulling away. So right now it's early, it's 3-2. So things start to shift really, really quickly. And if you see your partner next to you or your teammate starts to win and get the lead, you kind of feel encouraged as well. So it makes sense that momentum does swing together.
And for the record, we're 25 minutes into this broadcast. It's been a lot of, it's been all UCLA at the top of the lineup, and that speaks to the momentum, how these matches swing together. Alicia Bolton right now, a 5-love lead on court number 3, so we'll keep an eye out on set points there. Abby Forbes, 5-1 lead on court number 1. It felt like, if you're a USC fan, given Selma Ewing's form of late, that might had to have been one you need to steal. But again, we're going to stick around for this deuce point here on court 5. We made it to the deuce point. We're not going to leave now. So we'll stick around for that, then introduce court 6, and then we'll around as these sets start finishing. Nina and I will call for the shots as we go around. But yeah, just worth noting for those of you following at home, Forbes, Bolton near the finish line of their first sets. Forehand sails a little long on Vagramov. Whenever I watch a lefty now, all I can think is Jill Teichmann. Like, it's all that's pro tennis coming into my brain. And
Not
I don't
Rafa?
think that's a horrible comp. Yeah, no. See, I don't watch Big Three anymore. What am I going to learn from a Big Three match that I didn't already know? But a Teichmann match, I'm always in on. Anyways, Vagramov broken, so it is going to be Brandstein, a 3-all now on court number 5. Let's go to 6. Introduce our final court. Abby Altic taking on Claire McKee. McKee has been – sacrificial lamb is far too mean to say to anyone in the lineup, but she has been the one who I suppose has been the most who's – the struggles, the injuries in the USC lineups have most manifested in McKee, who's probably still a year or two away from cracking the lineup. She struggled at the number 6 singles position. Meanwhile, for Abby Altic this year, she is 4-3 overall, has been playing primarily at the 3 and 4 position, but UCLA 15-3 overall at number 6 singles. This is where having 8, 9, 10 legitimate players who could play in the lineup most manifests itself.
It does, but there is no more awkward position in college tennis number 6, because you're always kind of fighting for your chance to play, and you're always thinking about it. I know that for a fact that it's always in your mind, maybe not this early in the match, but you're always thinking that, like, is this the match that knocks me out of the lineup? It adds a lot of pressure and stress. Also at UCLA, you're always in this little back corner. There's no fans now at all, but in general, no one can watch you back here. I mean, nothing is happening back here. And there's also that bizarre spot of shade that's always crossing the court no matter what you're doing. It's a tough place to be.
No doubt about that. And you'll say, the flip side, if you're Claire McKee in this one, and she's played 17 or completed 17 matches this year, that's second highest total on her team, she doesn't feel that pressure. It's a free season for her, and it's just kind of, she has been the one who stepped up when asked, and she's done an excellent job. And here she's got an early 4-2 lead on Altic. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen much of McKee play thus far this season, but certainly that freedom that matters that much more in a rivalry match.
It does. It makes a big difference. I think mentally, number 6 position is challenging. It just depends, obviously, on your lineup and the depth of it. But with the Bruins, I mean, they could put almost anyone here. They have options for who they could put at number 6. And coaches always like to say that as a great thing because of injuries and how awesome it is to have depth. But if you're number 6, that's not that great. So it's a lot of different factors. Each player handles it differently. And at least on this court, we have a one-handed backhand, and that's pretty fun.
I'm all in on that. And yeah, I feel like as a coach, you say you'd love to have 10, 12 players who can all contribute. Give me a really high quality 8 over like a deep 10, because at least if I have my 8, I know my rotating cast, playing time's not as much of an issue. Like, those sorts of things matter, right? It's the playing time as much as anything.
Maybe I'd be a terrible coach because I'd be like, I want everyone to play. So I'd like put the 7 and 8 in doubles and guarantee they're always in there and everyone kind of feels like they're part of it. So yeah, it's for me, it's all about equality, but that's not the way you win.
No, I would say you're the serve and volleyer now. Congratulations. This is your role on the team. This is how you're going to crack the lineup, and you'll be our indoor specialist.
Exactly. That works too.
Yeah. Big serve from McKee. 4-40-15 here as she looks 4-5-2. We look across the board. Abby Forbes now 5-2 lead on court number 1. We'll go there next as Alicia Bolton already closed out a 6-love first set in a blink of an eye over Danielle Wilson. So yeah, we talked about it when we were on that court. Alicia Bolton at 3 singles is a joke. She's going to do that against a lot of players here this season. But we'll stick around through the end of this break, and then Westoff, let's head on over to one to catch the end of Abby Forbes. Ball sails wide, so McKee holds 4-5-2. With that in mind, on court number one right now, I think they already wrapped up. Or they're mid-changeover still. Gotcha. Okay. 5 on court number one. Abby Forbes, big lead in her match against USC's Selma Ewing. And you start to look at the scoreboard now. The only lead for the Trojans, 5-2 on court number 6. Everywhere else, it's a break lead. Well, I guess everywhere but court 5, although Vagramov must have just broken Branstein, so it's a break lead for the Bruins everywhere else. That hurts.
So the key is to have a one-handed backhand if you want to win a set off a Bruin. That's what we've learned today so far.
I've said that. That's just common knowledge. I'm trying to think of who are like some great USC Trojans over the years who have had one-handed backhands on the women's side.
So many names stand out to me from my days, but like Niculescu, it's not the one on the pro tour, obviously, her sister. And she was not a one-handed backhand, but she had the slice situation going on, if you can believe. So the Trojans are always very crafty and very, very, very spirited. I remember that always.
I was going to say, how many Trojans are top 50 doubles players in the world right now in the women's game?
Yeah, they're so good.
2?
And what you see there is that longevity. They want to keep playing after college no matter what. They're not just going to go for singles career and give up on their dreams. And I think that says a lot about their mentality and how much they love to play and how much they enjoy practicing and training. And then I think of, someone like Danielle Lau is still out there. I mean, there's people that are still grinding and they're going to go into their 30s and still keep playing. And they spent 4 full years for USC.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be. It's certainly, I imagine, easy to train to be a professional when you're in that LA sun. And you see here for Abby Forbes, that's probably her goals as well. And, again, you were part of that UCLA program. Coach Stella Sampras-Webster certainly far better than I do. What does she cultivate at that program that has so much pro talent filtering through? And clearly those players go on to have success.
What the coaches do so well there is they allow the players to work with each other and kind of feed off each other. There's a level of competition between everyone and respect, and that kind of helps build your game as you improve across the 4 years or 2 years or 1 year. There's a level of camaraderie between the players, and I think the coaches really allow that to happen naturally. Obviously, there's plenty of great practice and plenty of great, matches and everything, but it's how she lets players work with each other. I think that makes a difference. It's the girls that have kind of cultivated this culture. I think it's a lot of who she's recruited.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like LA being based there, a high number of pros come through, right? And you get to train with them, have a little fun as well.
Look, Pete Sampras comes through, Sampras is a very familiar name. So
I've heard of him.
You do get some pros coming through. I know Sam Querrey was always around when I was there. So you do.
And that's got to be awesome. Yeah, I feel like you're always going to see a Naomi Osaka, Grigor Dimitrov video at least like once a year.
It's very scenic out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice stadium court, certainly. And it's, Abby Forbes is playing well on that stadium court. She takes a 6-2 lead first set over Ewing. Let's go to court number 2 now. Competitive set unfolding between Jada Hart, who I believe currently leading 4-3 over Erin Cayetano, has a break lead there on 2. Things are close. I mean, you can't drop 4 first sets, right? If you drop double and 4 first sets on your USC, that's tough. But they're hanging.
They're hanging. Look, nothing is over until it's over. In college tennis, things can really turn on a dime. There's nothing until you get to 4. It's going to be a battle, and you never really want to get your foot off the gas if you're the Bruins, if you're Jada Hart especially. I mean, this is a tough match for her. She's on serve, but I am a believer that in women's college tennis or in women's tennis in general, that's not that big of a deal. Like serve.
Yeah. Did you watch the Osorio Serrano McHale match yesterday in Charleston?
I didn't. I was on the men's beat.
Oh yeah, that's true. That would make sense. There was I think 6 straight breaks from 3-all in the second set to get us to the tiebreaker, and it was just like McHale served for the match 5-4. She served for the match 6-5, and it was just like there was no hope. I don't think she got to match point.
It happens in the men's game too. Actually, I was watching. I think it was Rublev and Bautista Agut, and they also exchanged something like 6 breaks of serve each. I mean, something ridiculous. So it happens to everyone. I'm not super obsessed with things like on serve, but if you're a good server like Bolton, it makes a difference.
No, absolutely. And we see here again, I believe far side of your screen, Jada Hart now serving 4-3, 15 love here in set number 1. A reminder, it was UCLA who took the doubles point. And it's funny now thinking back on all of those USC Trojans having success in the pros. You can see why. They were fantastic in the doubles. I know they ended up dropping the decision, but they played so aggressive. They looked across at the net, playing 2 up. They lost, but they played damn well.
They have a lot of strategy when it comes to doubles. As you said, you see at the cross thing, they're aggressive. They know what they want to do. They're trained very, very well in doubles, and that's a big part of college tennis. You really have to focus on doubles every single day we play doubles. I mean, there wasn't a day that we didn't, and it's because it does matter so much, that first point.
Mm-hmm. I believe Coach Swain for in her what? I want to say 12th year? No, it's that third year.
Third year.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
I think she's
Third
at
year. Yeah,
Williams
no.
College for a long time.
That's what it was. Yeah, she was at Williams. I think she won something like 3 championships in a row there before she got hired from USC. So, I mean, again, she's still early in the program, but she seems to have found her way here in LA.
Can't be so bad living in Los Angeles, you know? I mean, I don't know how much she can complain about. It seems like a very luxury place to be, and
I
I would
don't
know.
know. Williams compared to Los Angeles, it's tough. It's tough.
And then she's got the Benassi sisters as her assistant and her volunteer. That's a good combo.
Both of them, assistant and volunteer. And were they both at Cal? I think Megan was at Cal.
Megan was at Cal and I think she's still on the pro tour. So that's a really good person to have, someone who was a former college player so recently and someone who has been chasing the pro tour. I mean, that's a great person to have in your court, basically, literally in your court.
See them filtering through. That's got to be the worst part as a coach, to be like, all right, I'm going to go see the bottom courts now, and you have to hike the 1.5 miles, and you're like, this is awful.
I actually don't even remember how they communicated it, but I do think that Rance Brown was always, for the Bruins at least, was always down on 4, 5, 6. And then we had Stella kind of always 1, 2, 3. But they would occasionally alternate, and they don't have like phones or walkie-talkies. I don't know how they do this. I think they just read each other's minds.
Yeah, it's when the sun gets at that certain angle, it's time to switch.
Like after 20 years each, you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah, you would think so. And you see here now for Cayetano, break point here in the service game of Jada Hart.
Like I said before, though, I think Jada Hart is someone who has a lot of attitude and a lot of spirit, and she's got a lot of personality. So I think she's someone who would enjoy a battle, and it is for all, or I think it is, yeah. But she's seeing her partners on both, her teammates on both sides doing so well, so that's giving her a little bit of a moment probably to relax, which can be good and bad because you're kind of chilling for a second because you don't feel that panic, but you also don't want to give up the first set and be the only one on your bank to be down. So it's kind of both things.
And for Jada Hart, she struggled to start the season, was down in her first 2 matches, didn't finish against Cal or Texas A&M, and I was at the National Indoor. She lost a first set 6-1 to Lulu Sun in, I think it was the semifinal round against Texas, and it woke her up. And like she was like, oh man, like I guess I am back in college tennis again. And she won 6-2, 6-4 next 2 sets, and she's kind of really just exploded since then. Yeah, it's someone who seems to always be playing her best tennis in the biggest moments, and it was only 2 years ago that her and Bolton were playing #1 doubles. I think they were the #1 team in the country, and they saw their teammates win the NCAA doubles champion in Broomfield and Andrews. And so you feel like for Hart, yeah, anytime you watch her play, just someone who's so happy to still be in the game.
And I think she probably had to stay on her toes with Bolton coming up behind her at number 3. That's got to keep you in check for sure. No wonder you're saying that she turned things around at the indoors. It makes sense because she probably was thinking, I want to keep this #2 spot. And she probably wants to finish her career with some kind of a title. Yeah, surely.
I like Cayetano's game, though. You were right. These Trojans play aggressive tennis.
They do. They're always kind of trying to find ways to come in, cut angles off. They're big net players, which explains why their doubles game is so strong. I mean, even across a decade at this point that I would be familiar with, they've always been very, very good at the net, and that's something that's rare to see in women's tennis, but it's so refreshing to see.
And we apologize. We're going to pull away from this court because we've got a set point on court number 4. Vivian Wolf, 5-3, 40 love up now on, I believe, Summer Dvorak for USC. In the meantime, by the way, another set for the Bruins at number 5, 6-3 decision for Sasha Vagramov. Abby Altic slowly narrowing the gap. It's a set point on 6, so it's happening simultaneously. We'll see if we can't get there.
It's always fun when they sync up like that, when you win sets at the exact same second.
No, it's the same way everyone calls you at the same point of the day because everyone seems to be free at the same moment.
I think she's got it. Yeah, that's another set for the Bruins.
Yeah, and they are just coasting now here, Nina. First sets at number 1, 3, 4, and 5. But McKee did get the set on 6. I may be ahead of the broadcast scoreboard, may be ahead. That happens from time to time. It's a deuce point set point for her here, 5-3. You can only see how it ends. This is 6 singles. You gotta love it.
6 singles is a very special place.
Absolutely.
Especially at UCLA.
Yeah, that's where the real money is to me.
You really got to focus.
No, absolutely. And McKee takes advantage of the error. She earns 3 sets. So a little glimmer of hope there for the Trojans here down on 6. Let's go back to 2. Westhoff, if we can. It's our final first set in action. Jada Hart now 40-15. Did she just get the break? We might have missed it. I believe she did just get the break, 4-5-4. But we'll come back there as soon as Jada begins service game. In the meantime, let's go back to 1, I suppose. Abby Forbes up 30 love in her first service game of the second set. Or maybe it's the second. I think the serving marks are a little bit off. I think Ewing might be up an early break here. Oh, nope, she hits it over. It's tough. It's tough. The chair umpire life is not easy.
It's not easy. I'm almost a little surprised that you even have chair umpires still, given how the pandemic has changed the sport so much. It's good because it obviously solves a lot of problems, but I'm surprised.
Are you comfortable sharing the worst hook you've seen in a college match? I'm sure you remember it.
I don't think I remember. I mean, I know I've seen a ton when I was watching, especially men's, which is juicy, but myself, I can't think of a single one that was controversial. We were always kind of taught to be chill and not freak out, which is hard times. So things like line calls, people would get upset over certain things, but for the most part, I don't remember. I can't think of a single crazy one. Junior tennis was way worse, obviously. I'm sure you can relate, but yeah.
No, the worst hook I've ever seen was a high school match I played. My doubles we got hooked like 3 times in a row. We were killing them, so it didn't really matter to me. I was like, whatever. It's one of the rare moments we killed anyone in my career, so that's why I remember it. And then one of our opponents got a little competitive, and so he hooked 3 in a row, and they were all shots my partner hit, and my partner was getting frustrated, and I couldn't blame him because the last one was particularly egregious. So on the next ball, it was my partner's serve. He hits the serve. That kid makes his return. It lands in the service box. My partner picks it up off a bounce, goes out, and just goes to serve the next point. And I was just kind of like, come on, man. Like, don't do that. Don't. And then they started, bickering, and I just kind of went and sat on the sideline with the other kid. And we were like, well, we can leave, if you guys want to play. But that's half the fun. I kind of love if you got to see pros call their own balls, who do you think the worst hook would be? I feel like Rublev's thing just a half. He's like, ooh, just a little bit out.
Rublev is such a nice guy. I cannot imagine.
He's such a competitor.
They're all competitors. I'm trying to think but they all respect each other. So that's a challenge, right? There's a lot of respect. I think there's a lot of respect between the guys. Maybe someone like Fognini would be pulling some stunts, but I think cheating is such a low thing for fully grown adults. Maybe you have to be younger players. I mean, I'm not gonna
call names specifically. No, I agree. I could see a couple, or just the Djokovic being like, oh no, just a little bit.
Imagine if there's a crowd there and they're also watching and judging you.
Which would make it even better.
in this case, in college tennis, you have your teammates there and they're judging you. So if you're cheating, they'll see it like that. There's a lot of awkwardness involved.
I would like electronic line calling to supplement the players making the line calls. So the players call their own lines, and then
they get fact checked
every time. And it's like, nope, we're going to call you out on the spot.
That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, it's in the queue. It's in the queue for the eventual. I'll ship it over to Noah Rubin. He can incorporate it in the Behind the Racket tour.
He probably will.
Yeah, but Forbes back in this, I believe. She holds for 1-1 here at on court number 2. On court number 1, let's go back for 2, if we can, please. Now West Jada Hart facing a couple of points here, 15-40 in her service game. And it's been a back and forth sort of affair. I may be a point ahead on the scoreboard.
I think for her, she's feeling that pressure of all the other courts kind of moving along a little faster than her, and they're winning. So it starts to sink in that you might be like hanging out here for a while, and then they're going to finish the matches and just be watching you. At least that's what would creep into my head, because college tennis is so unique in that when your partners finish or your teammates finish, they just stand there and watch you. So it's a tight place to be for her right now, and she definitely wants to win this game.
That's the senior leader. If anyone feels this rivalry, it's Jada Hart.
Absolutely. And it changes each year, but for the most part, you always are taught that you're supposed to hate the Trojans, and it's your biggest rivalry, even though we talked about how Stanford is arguably a little bit more juicy. But and I love the simplicity of it, the red versus blue. Like it's just so pure.
Not quite Michigan, Ohio State, but it does the job.
You need to have a rival of some sort to have a reason to get out of bed every day.
100%. I was flying to LA for a USC UCLA match the Thursday after March 15th of 2020, which is when the pandemic hit, and I'm getting ready to go to Indian Wells as well. And then I had to cancel everything. And I was so excited to see my first Trojan Bruin match in person.
Oh, wow. It's so much fun when there's fans. I know I hate calling that there's no fans, but they'll be back. But when there's fans, things get like really dramatic. And I remember USC used to always invite fans to come, and they give like free pizza or free food, and they had a reason for them to come. And we didn't do as good a job of that, and that bothered me because there'd be more fans there than they were with us. I wonder if that's still going on. Probably.
No, I mean, David Roditi now brings ice cream trucks. Like, he's got the full setup.
They give incentive. And UCLA, they're like, no, we're so good, people will come watch. It's like, no one's going to come watch unless you give them something for free.
No, 100%. But the one thing we are giving for free, some very good tennis thus far. And Cayetano gets the break back 4-5 now. Again, USC, 1 set in the books. It feels like any comeback effort, any momentum kick could start here with a Cayetano set, right? It could be her, flipping things around. Then you at least get the momentum moving.
It'd be crucial. I think if she was to lose this set, it really kind of does bury the Trojans from any hope. They're going to keep fighting no matter what. I mean, these matches can all go 3 sets, but it does make a really big difference if you have those 2 first sets versus just the 1.
No, and again, we're still only 40 minutes into this singles portion. Alicia Bolton's 6-love 3-1 lead on court number 3. So looks like it's going to be a 2-love lead for the Bruins fairly quickly. Again, we'll stick here with Hart for a moment. Just stick here through the end of the first set, as this is our match on the board. The list is slowly coming together, by the way, of the host sites. I'm starting to slowly put it together. 20 initial schools. A lot of the schools in the top 20 that you think got the bid have had the bid thus far. The question is, what do they do with the Big Ten schools? That's the big thing. And so, anyways, if I look down, that's why, Nina.
That's okay. Apologize. I'm not judging you. You're a multitasker. It's tough
not well.
handling 6 courts. You're just one human.
Yeah.
I remember
producer Westhoff's for.
I remember the NCAAs, though, every time the draw came out or things were announced, we were always playing a match every single time. And you'd finish the match and just be like riddled with anticipation to find out what's going on, who you're playing, where you're playing, what's going on. And it always in the middle of a match.
Tim Russell is known for timing more than anything else, just slipping in that message when you least expected it.
I feel like it should just be overnight or something. Like launch it at midnight, like the cool podcasts do,
Yeah, that's just everyone gets the email 11:59 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we can all tweet it out at noon. But no, and you see Cayetano here with the hold momentum on her side now. 2 straight games, she takes a 6-5 lead. I suppose while we're waiting for Hart to come back, and I'm going to keep a close eye on it so we don't miss anything, can we go to court one, Westoff? Deuce point in the Selma Ewing service game against Abby Forbes. It was a 6-2 first set for Forbes. I really like Ewing's game, though. She can do a little bit of everything.
Like most of the Trojans can, a lot of variety, a lot of different pace and different looks at balls. I think Forbes does a great job, though, of covering the court very well. She's very consistent and she's great off both sides. You mentioned you love her forehand. I mean, I like her backhand.
Very loopy. Everything's so round about her game, and the ball explodes as such off of her racket.
Well, what Stella and Rance do when they recruit players, they recruit complete players. They don't bring you in and try and change your forehand and your backhand and your strokes. They never, as far as I understand, they didn't do that. They bring you in and improve what you already have, and they're recruiting so well they can do that.
I mean, Forbes, a former junior slam doubles champion, one of the top juniors in the world in singles as well. Everyone can see why in her pro career. She's lost 2 total matches. One of them, I mean, I think were they both to Sarah Davatillo? One of them was. The other one may not have been. But today, she takes a 6-2, 2-1 break lead of serve here on court number 1. Let's go back to 2 now. Stuff. Jada Hart serving 5-6. It's the last first set on the board. A Trojan push probably has to start here. And just Hart, you can tell she just hasn't really found her rhythm yet in this match.
She hasn't settled in just yet. You know, she seems a little bit off, but I just think that there's a lot of personality in her that will bring her through this. And, you know, you have to accept the fact that your match isn't going as fast as your teammates. That's okay. They're winning handily. That's great. It takes a little pressure off in a way. She just has to kind of dig in and settle in a little bit more, for sure.
I always love that face on Cayetano, looking around like, where are the fans? Where are all of these people? Where is everyone?
Sure, they're coming back soon. I think that a few schools have fans again.
Slowly but surely, I feel like people are trickling in. The question is, what will they do for NCAAs? It's an NCAA event, but it's happening in Florida. So it's like 2 completely, a nice dichotomy for everything.
Florida's quite a place to be, and they have 100 tennis courts out there. They really can space these people out 6 feet and 60 feet. It's doable.
I think Conan O'Brien once told a joke. It was related to North Korea. Like, they think they're the peninsula that's going to end the United States. It's like, we already have a peninsula that's going to do that. It's Florida. So we don't really have to worry about that as well. But anyways,
Alex, I grew up in Florida. Okay, this is now it's a very special place. A lot of upside for tennis players. I gotta give a shout out to Florida. Very good place to train for tennis. Let's leave it at that.
The best, unequivocally. Well, it's interesting. So you've trained in Florida. You've trained in California. I know that rivalry is real in terms of in the tennis world. Do you take the training in Florida over the California training?
Ooh, that's tough. No, I think California was better because you're sweating a lot less. But Florida gives you a little bit of those rain delays, and when you're a kid, those are lifelines. So it's hard to pick. But California, you don't feel the torture of going outside. Very rarely was it over, like 80 degrees, 90 degrees at UCLA. I remember only be like 1 heat wave in 4 years. Florida, you can suffer. So it just depends on what you're going for. Are you trying to be like super, super gritty, or are you trying to like have a little bit of fun?
I love that.
Enjoy
Florida,
yourself. Do you want to suffer or do you want to enjoy yourself? That's how you game.
That's funny. That's good. Big return there from Hart. Forehand goes down the line, so a 1-love lead for her. Alicia Bolton now 3-2. Okay, so Wilson got one of the games back, but she's still close. You see break leads for Wolf, Vagramov early in their second sets for the Bruins on 4 and 5. So looking like a routine day at the office right now for UCLA. See if Jada Hart into the mix as well. Early mini break for her.
It's always great to be serving your best in a tiebreak. So it's a good way to start.
No, it's a plus, right? First serve's the key in tiebreaker. Just get that first
just
serve in.
don't double fault. I remember being told that as a kid all the time. Just like, if you're going to double fault, do not double fault in a tiebreaker. And that stuck with me for my entire life.
That's
not.
good advice.
Do it. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's like this stupid rhyme. That probably explains why I am. My coach had a lot of stupid rhymes back in the day. No spin, no in, no win.
Oh,
it's a pretty
cute.
Good one.
Cute.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think of like Stella and Arance's isms. They had plenty. Surely I'll think of some of them.
Yeah, it's a good crew.
I know a lot of our focus was on footwork. So I know there was a lot of like foot things that we were saying. And we had a volunteer assistant coach named Bill Zyma who actually passed away, and he had the most incredible sayings and the most incredible drills. Oh, he was a great person.
Hard finding her rhythm here now.
I'm trying to think, what are the other keys to tiebreaks? Oh yes, win the first few points. I mean, she's just doing it right. She really is.
I know, isn't that a stupid thing? But it's like, hey, get out to a 3-0 lead. You know what sucks in a tiebreaker? Playing from behind 3-0.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just so easy when you're watching, right? You're like, this is what you should be doing.
Well, all the little things, like now when I realize why coaches are like, all right, play 3 points in a row. If you can win 3 in a row, that's your max, or you're out, or whatever. It's like, oh, that's why you picked the number 3. Like, I really wish as a 12-year-old I had been smart
clued in on that. I wasn't either, if that helps.
Yeah,
I was not clued into that fact. This is news to me.
Yeah, exactly. All these breakthroughs. The problem is I found it out at like 8 p.m. 2 weeks ago, where I was like, oh, 3 points in a row. It all starts to make sense now. It's like, I don't have anything to do with that fact anymore. But here for Jada Hart, again, 3 lovely. Gave one of them back. Yeah, that service out. Okay. I'm sad we haven't seen a single controversial call yet. I just need one.
It's almost hard to tell, though. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
I want to see like a challenge system in play. What's going on in this college world? I want to be able to see when they're like questioning lines. I want it to zoom in on Hawkeye.
Play site's like 3 years away.
Next year. Oh, I was gonna say next year. I'm being a little aggressive.
Oh, okay, sure. Next year. What do you know? Yeah.
Nothing. I don't think. But my dreams are big. I want big screens on each court. I want to be able to zoom in and see things.
I'm down.
Microphones on the coaches. Microphones would be amazing. I got a lot of dreams.
I feel like Stella might curse a little bit more than she lets on.
Ooh.
That would be my take.
That is impossible. I mean, maybe it's under her breath. I never heard it. She's the most stoic, calm, serene person. She's a woman of few words, let alone like swear words. Never screams, never yells. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen her get mad. Like, I've seen her be upset, but never mad.
Sure, yeah, but it's like a silent anger. Rant's a little bit more emotional, but in a good way usually, like a happy emotion. You kind of like loved it.
No, Stella's I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in you, sort of love.
Very serious.
Like, oh, you're just like, don't say that. No, she's always locked in, and that is, again, speaks to the professionalism associated with this UCLA program. As we make the turn, 4-2 here for UCLA. Again, thank you to all of you who are joining us on the stream here. Alex Gruskin, joined by the wonderful Nina Pantic here as we call today's battle for Los Angeles, UCLA, USC. It's been all Bruins thus far through the first 2 hours of this match. Senior day, by the way, for the Bruins here. You look at the scoreboard right now as we make the turn. Bruins up 6-0, 5-2 on court number 3. They've also got 6-3, 3-love leads on courts 4 and 5. 6-2, 2-all for Abby Forbes on court number 1. For Trojans fans, Claire McKee, 6-3, 1-all lead for her over Abby Altick on 6. But other than that, it's all Bruins. I'm going to keep an eye on court 3. If Bolton gets to say it on Redzone. We have, you remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, whatever, order of operations. We have an order of operations here on the Redzone broadcast. Match point trumps set point. So if Bolton gets to match point, we'll go there first. Of course, dual match clinching point is the trump of it's the parentheses of this equation. So we'll keep an eye on Bolton. I said I was going to cut down on the corny jokes. I can't help it sometimes, Nina. I'm sorry.
You had to explain that to me. You had to explain it. It's very obvious rules, Alex, but I like that you explained it to me.
Yeah, well, it's to the listeners, listeners, not
yes.
to you. It was, yeah, you, unfortunately, you were this for the listeners. That's what I feel about. Yes, that was a little mansplaining. I won't deny that. But, anyways.
Senior day does add a little bit more drama to this because your senior day in this position, you know, it's not a break it or make it for UCLA to win this match, but you want to win your last match because everyone always asks you about that last match.
Mm-hmm. And you'll remember it if it was a loss.
Forever. You will remember it forever.
Yeah. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Do I remember I do.
Everyone remembers. You also remember your last, like your actual last match. To be fair, this moment might actually be a little bit put away if they finish their season in a different way, either good or bad. You kind of that'll be your last match, but your last home match still matters.
The question for you, because I think Cracked Rackets fans will know my last match, Nina Pantic's last match. What's the one that sticks out with you most? Is it college? Is it a non-college match? What is it?
I'm trying to think. Like, my college career ended at Missouri, and I do remember we played a big conference match. It was our last match, and I know that I won it, and I remember winning in straight sets and being very pleased with myself. And the match, we lost it because we were never, ever, ever gonna win. And I was very pleased with that. And I was like, I ended on a win. It's all good.
Yeah, win to win.
There are obviously important matches before then, you know, at UCLA. My biggest match at UCLA was my freshman year. So not my senior year, not even anywhere near a last match, but very early on. And you remember, you know, one match is enough to remember, a good one. And then you just kind of forget all the other ones.
Yeah, I wish. Unfortunately, it's like that's what I have. That and the order of operations.
Look, at pro tennis, I only remember one match. It was winning a final, and that's all I need to think about.
That's all you need to know. Yeah,
at this point in my life, that's all that matters.
I can definitely agree with that. I can get behind that. Here, Jada Hart looking again to end her career here at UCLA. I guess she'd have one more home match come NCAA regionals or two more, but looking to end this regular season 6-3 lead for her. That postseason match is a home match still, right? It counts.
It doesn't count in the way you remember it. You always remember your last senior match when you get like, you know, the flowers and the photos and you have that photo forever. So then when you see that photo, you're like, oh, what match did I play that day? So that's kind of why it sticks out. When you win regionals, you are expected to win that at UCLA. You're expected to make the Sweet 16. And if you don't, it would be catastrophic. So a little different.
What sort of flowers do you go with on senior day? I assume you get to pick.
No, you don't pick. I think it's just like something. It just depends. It depends on the school. It depends on the budget, right?
Yeah, that's true. You'd think. Yeah, that would make the most sense. I've been around the Illinois program too long, where like Brad Dancer lets them do. It's just top to bottom. I think they make money as a program. It's crazy. But yeah, and I imagine that's a very, very fun experience. Jada Hart here now 6'4". Again, just looking to put her foot on the gas here, get through this first set. All eyes turned towards set number 2. Did I miss it?
Okay, but this is brutal because it's match point and set point at the exact same moment. This is unfair to you.
Yeah. We've worked too long in this, Jada Hart. I'm going to violate my own rule.
That was ridiculous, though, that they're happening at the same moment. Yeah. That's really unfair.
Doubles. Like, they shouldn't do that to each other. At least you could see Bolton sort of in the right corner of your screen.
Yes, that kind of put away that pain a little bit. It is incredible that Bolton has finished the whole match, and here we are in a first set tiebreaker.
That's part of the beauty of tennis as well. And I guess I was wrong. My last match bet would have been courts number 3 or 4, or 4 or 5, excuse me. But Sasha Vagramov, you know, since getting broken to even this match at 3-all in the first, she's won 8 straight games now. 5-love lead for her on court number 5. If that gets to match point, I can't miss 2 match points, so I'll probably have to jump at that point. But again, just keep an eye on Vagramov on 5.
I was gonna say you really need Hart to win this point, but no such luck.
I know. Come on, Jada. I'm going to send her a sternly worded text after this match. So you couldn't get through that? Just like, I needed you there. It'll actually be like, congratulations on the win. I hope you enjoyed senior day. That's in reality what the text is going to look like.
It's just remarkable how quickly some of these matches are going. Like a lot of very lopsided scores. And you did expect UCLA to be significantly stronger, but this is quite something else.
No, it's a lot, absolutely. And if we can go to court 5 right now, West stuff, while they're at the changeover, it's 6-3-5 love for Sasha Vagramov. We'll see if she can't close out before we get to the conclusion of this Jada Hart tiebreak. I hope my
that will never end.
Yeah, that will never end. Well, that would be half the fun as well. If they're just like after this tiebreak, the coaches are like, "You're good. You guys are fine. We don't need to play this one out."
Hence, the deciding tiebreak is so good.
Yeah, which I'm a fan of as well.
That was a pretty savage dump in the net, but it's discouraging being down 6-3, 5-0 while your teammates are all kind of losing, except that she does have that one set win next to her. And Claire
How frustrating is that shade? I know that's a really little thing, but like
no, it's horrible.
I'd be so angry.
It's really annoying, and I mean, there's plenty of pro tournaments that do that too, but it's annoying.
Oh, that's a big forehand from Vagramov. She gives UCLA a 3-love lead, 6-3, 6-love. She closes out her match over Constantine Branstein. With that in mind, where do we want to go next, Nina?
I mean, we got to go back to...
Yeah, we got to go back to Hart, don't we? You're right.
Well, they just finished the first set, so I guess we could go to court 1.
It would make sense that they would finish the first set the moment we tune away from them.
Yes.
Jada Hart, 7-6 decision. She takes the first, so 5 first sets now in the pockets for the Bruins. 3-love lead as well. Yeah, I'm in. Let's go to Forbes on 1. She's got game point, I believe, 40-30 here now in her 2-3 service game. And again, the serving metric, serving monitor thing, whatever, on the scoreboard, incorrect. It's Forbes serving on the far side of your screen. It would have been nice if the Trojans would have gone with red today. I feel like distinguishing between a black and a blue is a little bit tough. Red,
I do remember, though, always being very envious of their outfits. So the all black, like I said, they're not in Florida. The all black in California is acceptable. It works. And they always look really, really intimidating and cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. And UCLA tends to be very, very conservative with their outfits. I'm not sure if you've picked up on that, but very simple, very safe. Sometimes we used to have collared shirts. I mean, we did not look cool. We did not look cool. Yeah, Under Armour, Adidas was great, but Under Armour is a different beast, but obviously very nice to have free clothing of any kind and matching with your teammates.
Absolutely. Gosh. Abby Forbes is freaking good.
That backhand.
It's just her ability, and she can go. I love how she can change speeds. I love that she can play the defensive, heavy loopy, heavy defensive tennis. Obviously, her movement around the court, exceptional. Her ability to go defense to offense, but just it is a complete package. It's not as, Alicia Bolton, it's one speed. She's coming fast at you, right? And that power of tennis can just hit people off the court. Forbes just matches well with everyone.
She does. She's got a lot of variety, as we said, in changing up her pace. And she also has a lot of confidence, which makes sense given how much she's won this year. And combine that with her athleticism, I think the UCLA tends to recruit excellent athletes. And like I've said, they like to recruit ready-made athletes, but then improve them when they get there. And that's what's happening with Forbes.
I mentioned she's 16-1 this season. When was the last time you were 16-1 at anything? Like, I'm trying to think, brushing my teeth, am I 16-1? Probably not. Like, there are times when I just probably missed a tooth.
That's an interesting choice of example. But I'm going to go ahead and say nothing. Nothing we've ever done is that good.
Yeah, it's the first one that came to mind. I was like, what's something I do every day? I'm like, brush my teeth every day. But anyways, yeah, she's made it look easy throughout her college career. 20-2 overall. She's played top 2 in every singles match she's played. It's nuts.
And she still has a lot of college tennis ahead of her.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think she's someone who, I mean, it's so tough to say, right? It's an individual thing. It's every choice is different. For you, would it be results that would dictate whether you stay or leave?
It would be challenging depending on your own personal results, right? Like if you're not being challenged in some way, that'd be hard to justify staying. But if your heart is set on winning a team title, then that would be your sounding board for whether or not to leave. If you win the NCAA title, then you're like, okay, I feel like I've accomplished enough in college. Each person is different. It also depends on her or on the player's goals in their studies, right? Do they want a degree? Do they not want a degree? Do they care? We all know Jen Brady didn't care, but like some people care. Their parents care. These are young women, and their parents are making these calls probably still.
Yeah.
So a lot of factors to play, but I think UCLA is very, very open to helping players achieve their dreams of any kind. So they'd be okay letting someone come in for just a year or two. If they're good enough, they're good enough.
No, 100%. I feel like, yeah, for Abby Forbes, I mean, she's getting to play a ton of matches, right? That's the benefit of colleges. You get at least 2 most weekends. But yeah, I mean, how do you determine if you win a wild card for the U.S. Open main draw, right? You win that NCAA singles
That
title. You
is
kind of
always the one,
have to
right?
take it.
That's
That's the
that's
one.
that's the one that makes the difference. But you got to think now, things are different. If you're going to try and go pro from an unranked position during COVID with tournaments kind of all over the place, you're not guaranteed matches in any way. Now might not be the time to make that jump. But you did mention the U.S. Open wildcard. That is how they get a lot of people to turn pro, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. I know Alicia Bolton was planning to turn pro this year, but then with the pandemic coming, she just, didn't have the opportunity to play this summer, and she wanted to go back here at school. And yeah, I'm glad you bring that point up as well, because it's like, do I spend 12 months paid for at UCLA, or do I go try and grind on an unknown future circuit right now, an unknown ITF level event? Like that answer is pretty clear.
Exactly. And at UCLA, you have things pretty cushy. Things are laid out for you. I know that the pandemic has changed how people go to class and everything has changed, but clearly these girls are still practicing and playing matches and getting to play the NCAA tournament. I mean, these are the things that matter when you're trying to get matches in and like get that experience in. So giving that up would be a challenge during a pandemic.
You've sold me, by the way, on the Forbes backhand. Not that I
Good.
needed to be sold much, but like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a money shot.
It is. Jeez. Yeah, she's super talented. Former top junior in the world again, a double slam, junior double slam champion. That sort of pedigree usually pays off well. And for Abby Forbes, she was competing against the Clara Tawsons of the world, who has won a WTA level title, who just made the semifinals this week in Charleston. Emma Navarro, #1 player in the country right now. She was a quarterfinalist in Charleston this last week. So we've seen, more prominent Jen Brady, obviously Danielle Collins, who won 2 NCAA singles titles before turning pro. There are countless examples you can turn to right now of players who played college tennis having success in the pros.
There's so many. And yeah, for Danielle Collins winning two and coming back for that second one is very impressive. But it just goes to show like you're not satisfied until you are satisfied. It's each player is different. Each player has different goals. And hopefully the coaches are supportive of that. I mean, I know she had to transfer. So each player is different, each story is different. But you do see the pattern of college players really doing very well on the pro tour. And I think that's going to continue.
And it's men's and women's as well. Men's side guys like Yannick Hanifman, who made deep runs on the clay a few weeks ago. Guys like Kevin Anderson, the most notable. John Isner, the most notable. But Stevie Johnson, you could go on and on and on. The first one I had
Gotta
to
give
turn to was
Dominic Koepfer a little shout out.
Oh,
Too.
Dom
He's doing
Koepfer.
so well this year.
Tulane's finest. One of the best matches I've ever seen in person was him versus this guy, Dovydas Sakinis. I didn't pronounce his last name right, for Dartmouth. It was a first round NCAA match. My buddy played for Dartmouth, and it was the senior for Dartmouth's last match. He was playing Koepfer, who was a sophomore at the time, had just reached #1 in the country, was like starting to hit his stride. And because it was the senior's last match, like it was match. These guys play most ridiculous tennis. And I just remember being like, oh yeah, this Koepfer guy is the real deal. So yes, good shout indeed.
He is the real deal. He's having a great year, so you gotta give him that.
No, very nice guy as well. And he had a ton of success. Abby Forbes continuing her success. She gets the break of serve now. 6-2, 4-3 lead for her here. Again, it's 3-0 UCLA. They just need one more match to clinch this one. Is it going to be Forbes now? She's closest to the finish line with the set and the break. You look elsewhere. Vivian Wolf, 6-3, 3-all in her match at #4 singles. Abby Altick has flipped the script on court #6, 4-1 lead for her in the second against Claire McKee, and then Jada Hart, Erin Cayetano, just getting that second set underway. One love for Hart. I say we stick here. Court number 1 for now. I guess let's go to 4 quickly just because we have a deuce point, and it's been a while since we've had a deuce point. Of course, no ad scoring means the deuce point's the deciding point. Again, Westhoff, that's court number 4 right now for Wolf and Summer Dvorak. We turn over right when there's a controversial call. I mean, it's impossible for us to tell here. I'm just happy there's some controversy.
Yeah, you love drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Made you so happy.
Gravitated to it.
You have no disclaimer, but you just want chaos. Yes.
Anything like there's because I've seen USC head coach Brett Macy when he gets angry at a call, like just wears it on his face and like the shoulder. He gives you this look like, are you kidding me? You're gonna call that ball out, and like I just love that. Just like, yes, give me that.
It's nice seeing coaches go to bat for their players. We got to respect the passion. They're very, very invested in what's going on in these courts.
100%. Wait, no. I'm not going to comment one way or the other because, again, it's a camera of a stream of a court that's many thousands of miles away from where I am right now. But that's why I like a close call. Right there.
You need the Hawkeye.
Yeah, we have drama on court number 4. Wolf calls the serve out. Second serve coming here for Dvorak.
Still a fault.
That's tough. But the ball doesn't lie. So maybe the serve was out. Maybe I'm wrong here on my view. But anyways, now if you're a UCLA fan, set and break leads on court 1 and 4. The finish line is in sight. Let's go back to 1. See if Forbes can close it out on this changeover. It's going to be fun to get her on the near side of this camera as well. What do you think of these low camera angles? I kind of like them.
I'm not sure. I'm torn. I think when I first saw them, I was surprised. I thought there'd be maybe a little bit higher. But the way that the UCLA courts are laid out in the stadium, there really only is one place to put it. So
yeah,
kind of makes sense.
Unless you want... Yeah, you have a fan when there are fans just stand in like the 4th row and just
True.
You're on this. I feel like you could find the fan to do it.
They didn't obviously foresee a lack of fans when they put these things up. So I got to give them that. But
no, they're ready for 20,000 people.
Honestly, I've never seen 2,000 people, but sure. You gotta dream big. At UCLA, we dream big. Plus, the LA Open used to be here, so it made sense to have this big stadium.
The LA Open is the myth. Like, everyone has an LA Open story if you're from California or lived there for a little bit.
Yeah. It was my first internship, so yeah, I helped transcribe audio files. for Pete Holterman, who now is like still like absolutely thriving in the media world in tennis, and I transcribed audio. It was a big day.
That's hilarious, Pete. Yeah, good for you. I'm impressed.
I got him his lunch. It was it was a good start for me.
I'm trying to think what my first job in tennis media was.
I think I sat in press conferences and also recorded the interviews as well, and then brought them in.
The first job I knew where I was like, oh, I'm going to be doing something in tennis maybe is when you're young, if you have a coach, you help them run a tournament if they're running the tournament at the club. And he would always, because when I was like 8 or 9 years old, I like to make people laugh. So I'd stay at the tournament board and do my thing. And then when I was like 14, 15, he was like, you can run the tournament board. And I would just use it as an excuse to try a stand-up session. And I'm like, this is the best for me. Like that was when I knew. I would say that was my first tennis media job.
Everyone has a start, and each story is unique. But I'm glad a lot of people have LA Open stories because it was a very special tournament. Mm-hmm. Great venue, as we're seeing today.
Yeah, okay venue. The backcourts aren't as nice. No, I'm just kidding.
You gotta be good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a beautiful state. I mean, it's a random thing. If you're asking me, would I rather have Winston-Salem be played on the makeshift court they make at Wake Forest, which is very nice, or this beautiful stadium, I probably would pick this one. I also like it because it's like a bowl, right? When you walk up to the stadium, you go down into the steps.
It's a concert venue. I've seen Coldplay here.
Really?
Yeah. I have. I actually graduated on this court. They set up the seats and the stage and stuff.
That's kind of sick.
And it was right here, yeah.
They don't do it at the Rose Bowl or just anywhere else?
Every department has a different location, and mine was English, and it happened to be right here on these courts.
Gotcha. so tough to you. Mine was in, I forget the name of it's the Michigan Theater. Not as cool as this, by the way.
Oh, it was quite something.
Was that the most I've ever attended a event at the tennis courts? If you got that
Coldplay
many
or my
fans for the
graduation?
match.
Yeah.
Coldplay, probably. Yeah.
Coldplay, I'd say that they've had tons of other concerts, but that's the only one that I went to.
I'm just imagining Stella like really stressed out that people are going to ruin the courts during the concert, and
They
like,
covered it though. No, they covered it with like I want to say like a stage situation, but it was well protected. But I knew where we were. Yeah.
You're like, hey, I play there. I practice there.
Many
That's
things
funny.
have happened here. Yeah.
No, for sure. So Forbes is close now. Wolf a little bit closer. I'm trying to think. We're at 6-3, 4-3, 40-15 for Wolf. So they're both hovering around game points. We'll stick here for this deuce point for Abby Forbes. Again, she gets
wow.
the serve, gets the job done. So now 6-3, 6-2, 5-3 here. I'm going to keep my eye on court number 4. So if I miss anything here, Nina, I apologize. You can steer the ship on. I'm just going to keep my eye there just in case. It's hard to watch 7 things at once. So
I love to watch Forbes all day. So yeah, this is a fair deal.
Yeah. No, she's the real deal. It's so tough to say, right, who's got the pro talent, who doesn't, because players at the top of the college game are so skilled. Whenever you talk to them, people always say it's the mentality. It's how hard do they train? How seriously do they take it? Is that fair?
Yeah, it's not about how you hit the ball. It's about how you train and how mentally tough you are, of course, but also what your plan is for your support system, for your coach, for your travel. Do you have someone helping you out? I know you mentioned Dominic Kopfer, and he managed to find someone from Tulane to help him out to set up a base in Florida. He got a coach right away. I think he has a second coach now. It's about that. You can't just go pro and hit the tour by yourself. Even if you're the most incredible tennis player, it's not going to work out.
No, I completely
echo
that. I would say, yeah, the longer I've stayed in tennis media, the more you hear it's about the mentality. It's about, again, the intangible skills, not the tangible ones you can see on the court, because everyone to an extent can hit a serve, hit a forehand, hit a backhand. But what you do, when you're hitting those shots, when you're making those choices, that separates the good from the great here. I'm looking at Wolf right now. She is at 5-3, 15 love. How close are we with Forbes?
I think we're at 5-3, 30 love, or love 30. She's not serving, despite what the screen says.
So Westhoff,
she's doing a lot of racquetting, which seems very confident about this game. Yeah, love the racket spinning.
Her ability to spin that racket might be maybe the most underrated part of her game.
These little details matter. You can see that, and the opponent is thinking like, wow, she's just chilling. She's having a good day.
There's also just like a springing it, Forbes. Like everything she does seems there's just some sort of, the word spring. There's just she's always moving, always displaying energy. You can always do that when you're up 6-2, 5-3, your team's up 3-0, and you've got this match in the bag.
This is tough. I think they're going to finish the exact same moment again. We're having quite a day.
Typical. Yeah, we're going to work split screens into the future. In fact, I think Westhoff can do it. It's just one of those things where I forgot to tell him in advance. So he's like, yeah, next time tell me. So we'll work that in later on.
Oh, yeah, Vivian Wolf now's up 40 love.
Of course. All right, we probably have to.
We switch.
Yeah, we can't leave midpoint, though.
No, of course not. That would be rude.
Yeah, come on, Abby. Just hit a big backhand.
She's grinding now.
Oh. Yeah, this is typical. Oh, that's nice. Oh, come on. All right. We have double match point. Do we go 4 first? Yeah, let's do 4 first. Vivian Wolf. Love 40 here. See what happens. Meanwhile, Forbes 15-40.
This is brutal timing.
Yeah, give me an injury timeout. Just
this
give me something.
So fun though. This is so great for UCLA. I mean, and if you're about to split sets or like you're down either matches, you're like going so slowly to not have to play a full third set.
Are you a fan of the slow clap or no? Do you like a set point slow clap to build the scene?
I love it. Do you hate it?
I think it's why we get along. I need it.
I think it's so fun. Anything that's like a little bit different and unique and And it does call attention to the point, right? And that's what you're supposed to do. It's a big moment. Let's celebrate it.
100%. So match point number 1 erased on board. Let's jump back to 1. Match point for Abby Forbes. Let's see if we can get there in time. Shout out to you, Westhoff. You're a beast. I can't believe how low she got for that back.
Yeah, that was very athletic.
Unbelievable.
All
Abby
right, we have it.
17-1 now here at the number 1 singles position. 6-2, 6-3 victory. She earns to clinch a 4-0 win for the Bruins over the Trojans. Can we go to 4 quickly? Might as well watch the match point there since we've come so close to the finish line now. And then after this point, we'll probably wrap the show. If you guys want to watch those individual matches, again, as we wrap, we'll stick around. But again, on court number 4, it looks like Wolf gets the job done. So 6-3, 6-3 for her. It is a 5-0 lead now for the Bruins. You look across the board, Jada Hart 7-6, 2-1. She leads there on court 2 for Abby Altic. Dropped the first set 6-3, but a 4-3 lead, now 40-15 lead for her on court number 6. Looking back at this match, it's a rivalry match, Nina, and yet it was all Bruins from start to finish. Your thoughts on their performance today?
It was so one-sided. I'm definitely a little surprised because USC does compete so well and has so much variety, and each court has a player with a different amount of spins and slices and charging the net. You think they'd throw them off a little bit, but the Bruins were just way too good. This is such a confidence booster for UCLA moving forward into this second half of the season. Well, that's what we used to call it because it's second half season that matters. This is the reason these players have been playing all season is what happens in these next coming weeks. And this is quite a way to end the regular season.
Absolutely. And now for the Bruins, they've got a conference tournament coming up. Very possible they'll face the Trojans for a third time. Maybe it's Stanford, maybe it's Cal. A ton of competition for these Pac-12 teams. For both of these teams now, we'll start with UCLA. What do they do to start preparing for the postseason?
They have to manage their health, make sure nothing goes horribly wrong here in terms of their fitness and making sure that they're all fit and healthy going forward. Like we said, they have a little bit of depth, a lot of depth. So they have options, especially at 5 and 6 to mix things up. But 1, 2, and 3, you want to make sure they're healthy, they're mentally ready, they're physically ready to go forward, and that they're all coming together as a team, which I think they do a great job of, as what we saw today, is everyone's kind of on the same page and they're very emphatic and excited about what's going to happen next.
I would echo everything you said. So let's flip gears now and talk about the Trojans. Tough loss for them today. Worth noting, they competed their tails off in doubles. They were right there on both courts, 1 and 2, found themselves down early breaks on both courts, managed to fight their way back, actually scraped out leads on both courts before the Bruins' talent in the end just earned them the bump. And then they're just kind of down in singles from the start in this match. But still, they're ranked number 36 in the country. They're 11-9 now. More, you do the math, you do the numbers. They're more likely than not, it would take a very bad result at the Pac-12 tournament for them to not make the NCAAs. With this young squad, what's the plan for USC over these next few weeks?
At this point, you got to embrace you're the underdog going forward. And every match you play, you're probably going to be the underdog. And that's something that could be helpful because then there's a little bit less pressure. The season's not written off at all. This is still a very talented team, but that's the mentality. You got to look at growth looking into next season. Honestly, that's how you kind of pace it and manage expectations. And also, don't beat yourself up too much because there is so much potential for growth.
And so, I would, again, agree with everything there. Now, we talk most impressive performer today. And, again, I suppose this is a terrible pun, but it's sort of a rinse and repeat for the Bruins, right?
Wow.
They're, sorry. Thank you. Tip of the hat. I just couldn't, I had to use it once today. But you look for them, Bolton, number 3 singles, to get her back in the lineup. She was off the court in like 45 minutes today. She looked great in doubles too. I mean, just to have her at 3 singles, right? That is the spot for the Bruins.
It really is. It makes a big, big difference. 3 and 4 are crucial when it comes to college tennis because 1 and 2 are always have their hands full. And then 5 and 6, you kind of expect especially at the Bruins level, they'd be a lot stronger than whoever they're playing. So 3 and 4 are the swings. And I think having Bolton at 3, that was a very good performance. She's having a very, very good week. And even, Vivian Wolf was doing great as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, tons of options at the bottom of the lineup. Certainly, we may not be monitoring the action at number 6 closely, but for Coach Stella Sampras Webster, she's wanting to know, should I be playing Altic? Should I be playing Ong? What should my lineup be? Who should my 6th person be? Because pretty clear, I think the top 5, it's safe to say those are probably locked in at this point for the Bruins. The question is, who is that missing 6th piece? What are they going to do at 3? That would be my takeaway if you're a Bruins fan. To have Abby Forbes at 3 doubles feels like a cheat code. Like, you get one of the, if not the best player in the nation at 3, you're always going to feel good about that flight. And then when you've got a former number 1 team in the nation at 1, when you've got a 15-2 duo at 2, you got to be feeling good if you're the Bruins heading into May.
Oh, they're feeling great heading into May. You have to admit that, just given the depth of this team and how strong their 1, 2, and 3 is. The doubles, you said, I mean, they swept it. They're doing so well there, and they can mix up the teams because, Abby Forbes has played 1 as well. Now she's at 3. I mean, that's just, I'm not going to say it's a stack. That's not the right word, but it's depth.
Yeah. No, it's a justifiable stack, which is like an oxymoron. But it's true. It's like any team would pay to have the Alicia Bolton of the world at 3, and they do. And so, again, for the Bruins, they are well positioned to head into postseason play. Now, we were hoping to have the men's match for all of you today. Unfortunately, that match ended up being canceled. It's a story we'll talk about more as more become publicly available later on, so not going to address why it was canceled now. I will say that having talked to people around both teams, there is a chance that match gets replayed later in the weekend. If it does, Nina, you'll be my first text, obviously, as we have commentators coming from YouTube right now saying Nina Pantic is awesome. I would agree. That's why literally I'm a little bit of a behind the scenes look for all of you listeners. And this is where I pour the butter on you to get you to come back next time, Nina. But, we were texting with the athletic directors, with the SIDs saying, hey, we'd like to broadcast the matches, USC, UCLA. The moment they said yes, I wanted to message you, Nina. I was like, she would be perfect to be here with, to talk through these matches. So thank you for joining us today. I know you've got a lot of cool things in the horizon. Can't share all of them with us, but just, for our listeners, if they're looking for your work, where can they find everything you're doing?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Nina Pantic 1, as well as Instagram, the same handle, Nina Pantic 1. And I have a website as well, actually. I'm going to throw it out there. It's npt-media.com. So that's where you can find me.
NPT Media. I'm in on that. Do we have
there's a
shirts
little
yet?
hyphen in there, so don't forget the little hyphen. No, it's honestly just a place to put all my work. So it's really been fun to build a website, and it's not nowhere near as cool as your website, but I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, when you guys have Zoom virtual backgrounds at npt.com, then we can talk.
We'll see Zoom background of your face, actually.
Wait, all right, while we're on the Zoom, I'm going to do it. I'm sorry. Since you talked about the last match you played, and I apologize, I think super producer Daniel Westoff knows what's coming. But just quickly, the last match that I played was this one, Nina. Look at that beautiful. Look at that beautiful. Hold on. Let me just give myself a little kiss.
See, you ended on a high note. That's good. That's what you're going to remember. Don't remember any of those losses, those double faults, and those tie breaks. Just remember this moment for the rest of your life.
Well, we won that match, but personally in that match, not only did we lose our double set 6-2, I double faulted the last 3 points of the match. So a little humble. So that's what I remember when I see this picture. I'm like, oh, I double faulted my last 3. Really should have served under the lights beforehand. But anyways, that's a story for another time. A note to all of you listeners, thank you so much for joining us. Sincerely. Such a pleasure for us to get to do this, to be able to amplify college tennis in the fashion that we like to watch it here at Cracked Racquets. To bring that to all of you means the world to us. We will be back Sunday for Michigan, Ohio State, UCF versus Memphis. Excited. We're going to have a bunch of fun rotating guests in those matches as well. So be on the lookout for that. Obviously, Nina, we are hoping to have you back. It's weird now that I see my face in the background. I don't want to change the virtual background again, but it will be great to, hopefully be able to do this again with you in the future. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today.
Thank you, Alex. And I'd love to be back anytime.
Westoff, let's go to court 6 at Ohio State.
I don't believe it,
My
Chris.
goodness.
University of Virginia. Shocking quarterfinals. Unbelievable hands from Matt Solokian. Why are you playing one up, one back when you can do that, Matty?
Tune in to Crack Rackets in the Red Zone. You might get some sneak preview.